My voice hurts. Let's go. 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 What's good? What the fuck is good? Welcome back to the stream. Jackson Ray, thank you for the gift. And I'm not gonna lie, it don't feel right wearing a Hawaiian shirt today. Like something about the comms that have come out from Trump on Truth Social talking about wiping Iran off of the map, and I am wearing a Hawaiian shirt just like doesn't feel right. But you got to do what you got to do, man. This is what we have to do. And we have Peter Schiff coming back on the stream today, and he rocks Hawaiian shirts, so I'm rocking Hawaiian shirts. So welcome back. It is incredible to see all of your beautiful faces today, and I'm a little bit out of it. Bear with me today. I'm a little bit out of it. I don't want to use the word sick because that's like demeaning and speaks it into existence, but yeah, not the best. But we're locked in. We gotta do what we gotta do. There's shit way more important than our health, and that is monitoring the situation. You already know how this goes. There are things much more important than your health. Much more important, and that is reading every Zero Hedge Axios headline that comes out and speculating over about them for the entire day. So I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's a weird day today. I just watched some of, if not the most ridiculous headline cuck into taco into SPX closing green on the day is genuinely one of the, in my 2 months of monitoring the situation and speculating on geopolitics, I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen anything like this, genuinely, in my 2 months. I've never seen anything like that. The fact that we closed green today is just fucking wild. And the fact that these headlines came out 5 minutes before market close is just so insane. So the plan for today is we have a lot of war stuff to go over. Like we just do. As much as I would love to talk about crypto and how good my Zcash long looks, we have more important stuff to talk about. Probably the most deranged Trump post I've ever read in my entire life happened today, followed by some tacos through the close, SPX close green. There's just this barrage of at least what I believe to be diehard MAGA Trump supporters. Fuentes, Alex Jones, Tucker, Tim Dillon, like guy after guy after guy. I mean, the Republicans are more upset about this than the Democrats, which is crazy. There's outrage on Twitter right now. Market somehow closed green. There's a deadline on the table for about 4 hours from now of whether or not Trump is gonna, I don't know, send Iran back to the Stone Age. And so we're gonna get caught up on everything that's happened today. We'll talk about oil a little bit, read a lot of posts, watch some videos. Breaking Points has a really good one. And then Mr. Schiff is actually coming on today in about 50 minutes, 54 minutes. Mr. Schiff is coming on, and I'm actually excited for Peter Schiff. Like, I'm going to just brief you on it that I'm not going to spend much, if any, time talking about Bitcoin, because why? He actually has a lot of political takes, not necessarily calling them good or bad, but he has a lot of political takes. He has a lot of economic takes, and I think as it relates to a bunch of stuff we've been talking about, like market manipulation and headline manipulation and Iran parliament talking about oil price and Trump planning tacos and positive headlines around market close and escalating after, like a lot of the stuff we've been talking about, I think he's going to have really good takes on. Like Yang didn't have the best takes on a lot of this market manipulation stuff, but I think Schiff will. And I think it's very relevant to what we do every single day. So I'm excited for Schiff. And then tomorrow, we actually have a sneaker guest. Rory Johnston, who, if you know who this is, doesn't follow me, but he's like a lifelong oil researcher and has really good takes. We've been reading all of his tweets, basically, on stream as it relates to oil, as it relates to crude, the market, all of it. It's going to be on tomorrow. So we have a pretty strong rest of the week here, and we're gearing up for a lot to fucking happen and to sort through and to manage and to figure out what's real and to figure out what's not. So I apologize for being like particularly late today. It was a rough fucking morning, but we're here. We're caffeinated. We're monitoring. We have 37,000 likes on a single tweet today, and we are going to fucking do what we have to do today because some things are more important than your health. On that note, roll call, baby. Who's here? Caleb, what's good? Louds, what's good? Viblet, First Chatter, DNAP, what's good? Houdini, what's good? Kevin, Rectal, Driz, Live the Life, G-Man, Shifty, Malcolm, what's good? Jackson, Stone, Yonan, Caleb, Spicy Meatball, Joey, Pipe Bomb, G-Bit, Pipe Bomb, we might have to change that name. Moncock, Maxi, Sax, what's good? Hidden, what's good? GG, see you later. Cats, I like that name. GG, see you later. Rug, Gorilla, Seth, Juice, OCJ, Goldman, Trax, Chunky, what's good? Marty, what's good? KG, Fries, William, what's good? J-Dogs, what's good? NFT Eddie, what's good? Remember meme coins? I am happy I don't. Yonan, Marty, what's good? 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 I'm trying to think if I have any crazy like intro stuff for you, and I don't really think that I do. Chat, do you have any cultural topic you want me to hit right now for 15 seconds before we move on? You have 15 seconds to call it a culture topic if you want me to hit it before we move on, because we have serious shit to talk about. TG chat so consistent for the whole crew here because you can't leave. Oh, Michigan. Dude. UConn lost yesterday. It was an incredible game. I'm honestly kind of sad about it. I am kind of sad about it, but it is what it is. Dan Hurley. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. Like, for the people that don't care about basketball, it was the college basketball national championship yesterday, which you should just care about because sports are awesome. And Michigan has one of probably the best college basketball teams ever assembled. I'm just going to be honest. They paid like $30 million for it. 5 transfers in the starting lineup. They dominated the game. It was way more than a 10-point game or whatever it actually ended in. And it was, it was domination. It was just like pure, unfiltered, utter domination. And so shout out to Michigan. Dan Hurley, I love you. I'm a UConn fan now. Shout out to Solo Ball from Northern Virginia, my hometown. I used to play against that kid when I was in like 4th grade. I played against a lot of pros, I'm not going to lie. That's why I'm fucking just sharp. Solo Ball is his name. No assists, 20 on the game. Fouls were bullshit. It was all over. Whole game was fucking bullshit. No, he's a lot younger than me, so he was ass. No, he wasn't ass, but like I was in like 6th grade. He was in like 4th or 3rd. And so, I mean, I was putting in work when Solo was a youngin', but it is what it is. Maybe we'll get Damn Hurley on the stream one day, but that's all I basically got on culture topics for you. Anything else really quick? Damn, your unk, I know. Anything else before I move on? You have like 1 second to call it a culture topic. Oh, real quick, the Peter Thiel steroid games are soon. I'm pretty hype. Very hype. I played versus Terrell Pryor. Damn, you really unk. The Juice Olympics are coming up. I'm excited for that. Maybe we can stream it. But all right, we have serious stuff to talk about. Let's just go right into market close, okay? I'm not even really sure what to say about this one. Played against Stephon Diggs. Damn, you really unk. Somehow, some way, by the grace of God and I guess Donald Trump himself, SPX closes plus 0.1% on the daily. After one of the craziest Donald Trump tweets we've ever seen, ever. I'll reread it again, but I want to just read you how the morning started, what I woke up to, so you can understand the scale of market closing green and how ridiculous it is. Also, really quick, if you would like to chat, you're watching on YouTube, you're watching on Twitter, the only chat that I read is twitch.tv/threadguy. I think it's the best place to chat. Ads are a little bit annoying. We're in here. I'll give you a sub if you want to watch on here. It feels good because I look at it, the numbers are higher. So if you want to chat, if you want to talk, if you want to get in the comm, twitch.tv/threadguy. And on that note, this was the announcement I woke up to this morning. And mind you, I woke up like with a fucking, my head was pounding. I felt like I was going to throw up. I thought I had like morning sickness when I woke up. And the first thing I read, I opened my phone. I do this thing now where I open my phone before I look at the sun. It's really bad for your health, by the way. Before I drink water, before I get out of bed, before I do anything, I immediately roll over and I open my phone and I look at first thing I do is I go on Google, Hyperliquid WTI price is already open. I refresh. First, before I start my day, before I think about the dream that I just had. By the way, I had a crazy dream last night. I had a crazy dream that me and Rasmer were like, it was fucked. We were getting shot at. It was crazy. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is open Hyperliquid and look at WTI. And so I wake up out of this crazy nightmare. Like it was a wild nightmare, bro. I wake up and I thought it was real at first. Check my body, no wounds. Cool, I'm good. Without even skipping a beat, I roll over, grab my phone, swipe it up. Bro, I had the wildest dream last week. I had a four-way with my exes and my wife. Bro, we're talking about like really serious shit, and you're in here trolling. We're talking about really serious stuff, and you're in here talking about wet dreams. It's like, lock the fuck in, brother. We have lock in, man, please. So I roll over. First thing I do is check WTI, and I'm like, fuck, what's going on? And so usually I check WTI, then I put my phone down, and then I go see the sun, and then I come back and check, like, why is it this way? But I think it was like 1:15 on HL, so I'm like, fuck, how bad is it? And so the first thing I don't even look outside. I go straight to, Truth Social. So ridiculous. It's like the most ridiculous bit of all time is that he's posted on this fucking app still. It is the most ridiculous thing. Is like, I'm going to post world news on Truth Social. He's like the only guy who uses it. And then they immediately throw it on Twitter. It actually is my favorite Trump bit. Despite any Trump isms that you like or don't like, and there's a lot of ones that you probably don't like, I'll give him a little dub at the beginning in case it gets intense here. He is hilarious. And the Truth Social bit is like, it's so ridiculous. Anyways, I wake up, first thing I do is look at WTI and Hyperliquid 1:15. And I'm like, what happened? So I opened, Rapid Response 47. And the first thing I read is this tweet. Also, what's up, Flood? A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionary, wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight, one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. And so I was going to sleep in before I read this. But I read it again before I've seen the sun. I read it and I was just like, I thought it was a shit post at first. I reread it. I thought it was like a doomer tweet. I reread it, and then my first thought is, wow, this he might be serious. He kind of sounds like serious. And so I was going to skip market open because I just was like not feeling it. And I put my fucking shorts on, I run downstairs, open my computer, and I'm ready for like a circuit breaker open. Honestly, I don't know. Like, I saw this tweet yesterday, and it was like, guy whose only canon event he's lived through is COVID has a take that this event feels a lot like COVID. But I was like, man, I don't know. So I run downstairs. I'm ready for a circuit breaker open. And it's the base 16Z meme. We'll look at Zcash in a minute. It's the base 16Z SPY down plus, minus 0.3%. And I honestly was just like, man, this is nuts. Like I can't believe it. So I closed my computer. I had to go to a meeting, do a little IRL meeting, whatever. And anyways, we'll come back to the Trump news, but we'll go through market close. But I want to just read that tweet. That on a day where that post was made, SPX closes up 0.1% today, which I feel like is just absolutely insane. Q's flat, IGV flat. Crazy. Nothing's red. Crazy. The Dow is red, of course. Nasdaq minus 0.3. Crypto looks pretty insane right now in through this taco. Or this taco extension headline, if you will. Okay. Hyperliquid 37.2. Silver's at 72. Sol 82. I mean, this is just Sol. Sol, like printing green candles, you look at it, it's at $80. It's like cursed ass token. Does anyone long Sol right now? Like, does anyone have Solana? Lots of it or no? This token is just in a weird spot. Me up 25%. Oh, before I keep going, LMO, I'm long right now. First chatter. Good luck, brother. Welcome to the pit, my friend. Good luck. I pray for you. What are you long? What are you long right now? Up or down on what? Like, what's your biggest position over this week? If you entered a trade this week, I want to see where we're at real quick before I go too far ahead of myself. What are you on this week? What are you long? What are you short? Whatever. Oil. Long cash. Nice. I wish there was a way to long cash. I guess it's stretch, right? I should put it in stretch. Zcash, long towel from 297. Nice. XPL long. Please stop saying that. Please do not come here and talk about long plasma. Please. Long Tesla. Good luck. Dev's launching a second token, by the way, if you didn't know. Long NFTs is crazy. What does that even mean? Long NFTs. Short beef? So here join the plasma team. I saw that. Short beef, like cattle? Like ground beef? Zcash, long Yeezy stop. Long split cap GP equity. Bro's a troll. Bro's such a troll. Cows might be outperforming BTC. I think cows are outperforming S&P by like a lot. Artist NFTs will always be cool. Any fund under 30 mil is just a charitable enterprise. I wouldn't mind 30. Long troops on the ground. That's crazy. Okay, cool. Long Hawaiian shirts. I'm only doing this for Schiff, bro. This isn't a fucking... Schiff's here in 40 minutes. By the way, I'm just going to reiterate one more time before I keep going over market close because a lot of new people just pulled up. Look, it doesn't feel right to me either that I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt today, okay? I don't feel good about it either. But I have an overwhelming priority goal. It's just to make my guests feel comfortable. And if our guest is from Puerto Rico and likes to wear khaki shorts and Hawaiian t-shirts, then I will also wear khaki shorts and Hawaiian t-shirts, okay? I know it doesn't feel right today, but it is what it is. Okay, I'm in the people business. That's what I've learned as a streamer. I'm in the people business. Okay, and so this is blame him, not me. No, I'm actually wearing Jinko jeans. They're not khaki shorts. Anyways, let's keep going. Zcash right now is absolutely piss missile candling at 277. I told you guys I'm long this a couple of days ago. I would like to add to this, but I just I can't do it until we definitively break when there's like nukes on the horizon. I just can't. Like when we're talking about insane escalations, I just cannot be, high leverage long Zcash beyond a nibble. So I took a little nibble, a little feeler, a little Jesse Livermore stab at it, and then I'm down to slam this thing above, but break some levels, maybe above 290, in the 300s. There's definitely been a little bit of a vibe shift, I think, on some premier crypto tokens. Number one, obviously being Hyperliquid, and this thing looks pretty good as well. Bitcoin's, I want to say sick candle, but not bad candle on the taco. Looks pretty good. 69.2. Also stretches over 100 or at 100. That means Sailor 632 BTC today. Just fucking slamming it. I think yesterday we were in like the thousands, deep thousands, which is awesome. You love to see that. Tau looks fine, and let's go. Defense is all red except Palantir. Actually looks pretty good. It's a pretty nice chart. Chemical fertilizer that I pay no attention to are all green. Individual names, it's crazy. Nvidia closed green. What else do we care about? Apple down 2. Netflix flat. This one, I never figured it out. Spicy Meatball, did you end up longing this or no? I don't know if you did. Oracle down 2. This is a pretty horrid chart right here, huh? Broadcom up 6 is crazy. Tesla down another 2. I'm telling you, man, Dev is launching a second token. This never goes well. Crypto actually can give you some experience on whoever was here yesterday when I was fudding Tesla is like, oh, it's crypto aren't fucking stocks, bro. It's very simple math. Okay, Dev launches a second token, both tokens get hit. Dev gets richer. Very simple. It's a very simple equation. Dev makes more money, token holders lose money. It's very simple, right? It can be the best token in the world. If Hyperliquid Jeff launched a second Hyperliquid token, Hype's probably not gonna do great. It's just not. It's just not. It just wouldn't. Like I don't know. It just wouldn't. It just wouldn't. So this Google chart actually is pretty gross. Up 2% today. So we'll see what happens. It's also heavily bundled. Yeah, it never ends well. And then Intel is sick, up 5%. And then individual names that we care about, Hims, down 4%. I saw this announcement today, by the way. I'm ready to stop taking the hair pills. I'm ready to just fucking mail it in. Okay, because look at this shit. Hims CEO. I'm ready to just mail it in. I'm not kidding. I'm ready to mail it in. I saw this. Look at this shit. Hims CFO, who has access to all the financials in real time, just proposed selling 75% of his shares. It's like, bro, I take Hims pills every day, and they're selling 75% of their shares. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Also, keep in mind, this is a company that, look, I know they do all types of medications. The only thing anyone uses Hims for is finasteride and minoxidil hair treatment. And he's fucking like really bald. Like really bald. Like bald as fuck. Fled. Like really bald. Like he's not even like Dan Hurley bald. Okay? He's like really bald. Like bald. Like you remember that guy was like the poster child for the face of unemployment for COVID? This guy is like the face of bald, you know? It's like he doesn't even have the Dan Hurley like I should be bald, but I don't really want to let it go. It's like no, this guy is like really bald. And so it's not a great feeling when you're taking the shit and they're selling 75%. No, UConn lost, man. They fucking lost. Okay, I know they lost. Yes, I doubled down at 2%, and my poly market account is very red after that. They used up all their ore on that shot against Duke. I don't know who he had to fucking, what rituals had to be done, what had to happen for that shot to go down, but it did, and now we're here. Anyways, concluding here, nothing else we really care about. Hood, whatever, nothing crazy. XYZ, haven't looked at this in a while. Looks like shit. Nothing else really that we care about. And so, good job on this Eklong. Thank you. It's not much. I'm up, I don't know, 15, 20%. I would like to slam it, but I'm crabbing right now. I'm a little bit afraid, okay? And I'm a little bit afraid because of the announcements that have come out of the United States government over the last 24 hours. You should close Zekat's ass. Over the last 24 hours, starting with this one that I'll reiterate, and then we'll go through the little taco. We'll watch some reactions, read a couple tweets, and we got Schiff in 30 minutes, okay? I'll read it one more time. This is how the morning started. A whole civilization will die tonight, never be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionary, wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight, one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. Look, I'm going to be honest. I don't think I was paying that much attention in Trump won until maybe 2019, definitely 2020. That was it. But where do you think this ranks in like most insane Trump tweets? Not necessarily good or bad, but just insane Trump tweets. It has to be up there. Again, not good or bad, but just like in scale of insane. Message deleted by moderator. It's got to be up there, I think. Jan 6 is 3. It definitely has to be up there on the Easter one is probably up there too, all things considered, if we're being completely honest about it. And so it's probably top 3, definitely top 5, I would say. And so that's what came out today. And so I don't know. At least in my head, I'm thinking to myself, market's going to get crushed today. Well, we closed green. Here is a couple clips. First, here's a Vance clip. Not that relevant to anything, but I just want to start watching some shit. Drop my fucking...
That we so far not going to happen if the Iranians are engaged in acts of economic terrorism. So they've got to know we've got tools in our toolkit that we so far haven't decided to use. The President of the United States can decide to use them, and he will decide to use them if the Iranians don't change their course of conduct.
So I don't know. For some reason, I feel good when JD Vance speaks. I'm just going to be honest. I feel like he hasn't been that active during tensions increasing in the Middle East. I feel good when JD Vance speaks, honestly. If I see him on the mic, I feel good. I don't really know why, but I just like to hear him talk. Honestly. I don't know if that's a good or bad take, but something soothing about when he's talking. So, okay, this video is kind of crazy, but Trump has put out these threats to like bomb a lot of like just civilian infra in Iran, talking about bridges and talking about power plants. And these videos came out and they're kind of crazy. I think I'm done with all this after today. Congressional oversight kicks in soon. Taco. Moving on, I think. Yeah, I would like to be done with it too, but I don't really know how you can, how I can be done. It's like a tough one. What does that mean exactly? Just like done paying attention? I mean, honestly, valid. But it's if you're trading, it's like we have to. If you're trading this market, you have no choice but to. Angelina Jolie is sort of amazing because everyone thinks she's like this great beauty. And I'm not saying she's an unattractive woman, but she's not a beauty by any stretch of the imagination. I really understand beauty. CNN, October 9, 2006. That's pretty good. There's so many other markets to trade. Yeah, but they're all affected by the biggest one, you know? So this video came out, which is crazy. Iranians form a human shield power plant ahead of Trump's threatened strikes, which is pretty... I don't know, it's just like a crazy watch. Like, it's just like a whoa kind of watch. There's the one at the bridges as well. Yeah, kind of a crazy, I don't know, just like a eerie watch. Their employees, it doesn't even matter who it is. So this is a little bit old from this morning, and then I got to pull up some recent updates because they've kind of just came out before I went live, but Amit posted, Trump on Fox News. If the deadline ends without reaching an agreement with Iran, we will launch an attack the likes of which they have never seen. Second, do you use Riverside for your streams? No, I just use OBS directly. If negotiations with Iran make progress today and something tangible emerges, the situation regarding the deadline may change. We are moving forward according to the established plans regarding Iran after the deadline expires. Well, either Trump is either going to seriously try to gain leverage today by attacking, or we get a last-minute extension of this deadline. At this point, I don't think anyone could be fully sure what might happen. Before we go over some of like the what feels like extension edging to it, I want to watch some of these reactions because there's one from I don't know if I've ever played an Alex Jones clip. Is he banned on Twitch? Can I even play Alex Jones? I don't know if I've ever played an Alex Jones clip, but there's like Jones, Tim Dillon, Fuentes, a bunch of people just like freaking out. I kind of want to watch the reactions. I saved it for stream. This is what I'll say though, is like the situation is like particularly uncomfortable because it feels like it's a dichotomy between holy shit, Trump could and maybe would actually do it. But then at the same time, especially with how we just went into close, it feels, and hopefully for our sake, that the most likely outcome here is going to just be another extension. 2-week extension, 3-week extension, whatever it is. We had, a bunch of news that there was going to be one 5 minutes before market close, and then we closed green, which is whatever you want to do with it. But it feels like that's the most likely outcome. Now, it's going to be absolutely brutal trying to trade 2 to 3 more weeks of an extension on, Trump threatening and Hegseth threatening to send Iran back to the Stone Age. But you probably prefer that over the actual Stone Age. So I want to watch a couple of these reaction videos. We have 28 minutes before Schiff. It's going to be a Jenny one. Jones first.
Compared to existential threat. How do we 25th Amendment is asked?
The problem is to get the 25th Amendment is harder than impeachment. You have to get 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate.
So what do we do?
Tackle Trump and
who's this guy?
Let him pretend he's president and publicly report that he's going through a health issue and Vance take over. It literally needs to be something like that. It's that bad.
I've known you a long time. You've never called for a internal coup before.
Ever.
I mean, that's kind of a ridiculous take, right? What are we talking about?
Ever. But that's how dangerous this is. That's how risky it is for the whole world.
Yeah, if I was the Democrats, I'd stop poking Trump and messing with him. That only makes it worse. Like, you guys need to watch out. This isn't a guy acting like he's crazy. This is real.
Well, what's there going to be to take over in 2026 or 2028 if this hits the fan?
Hard to take a fit like this seriously. I'm just going to be completely honest. I mean, this is like, what are we talking about? I thought it was a better reaction, D-Nap.
Well, what's there going to be to take over in 2026 or 2028 if this hits the fan? If we get it, he's threatening an extinction level event for the people of Iran tomorrow. Does nobody think there'll be any blowback from that? If he follows through on that, the whole world is screwed.
You were saying during the break, there's other ways to do this. People need to not just telling the truth, like Susie Walsh said. It's time to just not. I mean, say what you just said.
Yeah, well, legally and constitutionally, the vice president is an independent elected official. The same as legally and constitutionally, the only oath any member of the military takes, any member of the State Department takes, any member of the intelligence community takes.
I just don't think he's going to do it, bro. Like, this is my favorite tweet on it is, I think Rhino had a good one I like right here. He goes, still holding longs. I don't know, pretty muted response in most things so far, and I assume Trump won't wipe a nation off the face of the earth. Every hard threat he makes and every deadline he gives that he subsequently extends or backs off from makes it more and more likely the worst of the situation has already occurred. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't really think he's going to do it, and I don't know shit about the 25th Amendment. I'm going to be completely honest with you. 25th Amendment. Ratified in 1967, the 25th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution establishes clear procedures for presidential succession, disability, and filling vice presidential vacancies. It ensures continuity of government if the president dies, resigns, or is unable to discharge their duties, allowing the vice president to become or act as a president. Has this ever happened? Has 25th Amendment ever been used? Yes. It's been used several times, especially sections 2 and 3 to fill vice president vacancies and transfer temporary power during presidential medical procedures. Used twice in the 70s. In 1973, Gerald Ford was nominated by Nixon to replace resigning VP Spiro Agnew. I've never even heard of that name before. 1974, Nelson Rockefeller, what a name, was nominated by President Ford to replace him. Section 3. Ronald Reagan, while undergoing cancer surgery, he formally transferred power to George H.W. Bush for about 8 hours. It wouldn't change anything because J.D. Vance would do the same shit. I don't think, by the way, I think part of the reason J.D. Vance has been super quiet is that he's like really anti a lot of this Middle East escalation. George W. Bush, 2002, 2007. Transferred power twice to VP Dick Cheney. That's awesome. For colonoscopies. Joe Biden, 2021. Transferred power to Kamala Harris while undergoing colonoscopies. Is this like a big... You have to transfer power during colonoscopies? Is this like a common thing? What happened? Nixon, second term. Richard Nixon's second term, 73-74, was dominated by no, he said Reagan second term, I mean. Reagan. Ronald Reagan's second term was defined by major Cold War diplomacy with Soviet Union. 25th Amendment. Was formally invoked for the first time in U.S. history on July 13th when he transferred power to Vice President George H.W. Bush for roughly 8 hours. Got it. Okay. So this feels like we're just fucking talking shit. Like, could this actually happen? It feels very unlikely. Second reaction. Tim Dillon, who's kind of been on a run. He's been all over my Twitter recently.
I don't give a fuck about Iran either. Sorry.
Chat, does anyone watch Dillon frequently? Yes or no? I actually have never watched a Tim Dillon clip. Oh, then Joe Rogan.
I don't give a fuck about Iran either. Sorry. Throw him out if you don't like him. It has nothing to do with me. And the fact
Top 5
that,
white
that
guy.
the idea that I have to give a flying fuck, you should be standing with Iran. Shut the fuck up. Will you shut the fuck up? If they want to throw the bums who run Iran out, throw them the fuck out. But the idea that the United States of America, when people can't afford houses and they can't...
Probably my favorite gay. Is he gay? Really? Your favorite gay? Really? Is he? Is Tim Dillon gay? Yes. Huh. Is Tim Dillon... Not that it, like, changed my opinion. I'm just... One of the straightest gays. Marriage rumors. He posted on Instagram and Facebook that he got married with the caption, homosexuality was a phase. Interesting. He's openly gay coming out at the age of 25. I knew I fucked with him for some reason. That's a way to pop in the chat.
States of America, when throw them the fuck out. But the idea that the United States of America, when people can't afford houses and they can't afford health care, spends all its fucking time talking about the Middle East and fucking Arabs and Jews and religion and the fucking temple and slaughtering the heifer and Iran and Sunnis and Shiites. Get what the fuck is going on? Truly. What the fuck is going on? That we're told, well, is Iran Sunni or Shia?
He kind of sounds like Alex Jones, by the way.
Yeah, what is happening? Okay? Our own country is being destroyed, and it's going down the toilet.
Okay. That was Dylan. Tucker has a crazy one. I'm not gonna lie. This is the only one I actually watched. The Tucker one is kind of nuts. Let's watch it. This one was a little bit like, dude. By the way, Tucker Carlson is fully gearing up for a presidential run. Fully. By the way, I met Tucker Carlson. He was a cool guy when I met him. 2024, maybe. He's fully gearing up for a presidential run. Fully. Like 100,000%. He's got to announce it soon.
Open the effing straight. How dare you speak that way on Easter?
This is kind of a crazy clip. Like, he's fucking going for the jugular. John Kiriakou for president. Tucker versus Mr. Beast 2028. Did he mog in person? I think I have a picture of it, actually. Wait, I don't want to kill this clip. Wait. From not threadguy Tucker. Let's see. He told me he would come on the stream and he never did. I don't know what my picture is. Wait. Tucker Carlson. Yeah, look at this shit. Hey, I forgot about this. I completely forgot about this. I asked him, I said, I'm independent content creator. I don't know, will you come on the stream?
He came into crypto, was posting a bunch of...
Wow, movie. Shout out to Tucker. I do kind of mog him. I feel like I look like I'm like 6'4" in this. It's crazy. All right, anyways, back to the focus. By the way, just gonna say it. Political bias side, whatever. He was hella cool. He was hella cool to me. Let me ask a question. Told me he would come on the stream.
Straight. How dare you speak that way on Easter morning to the country? Who do you think you are? You're tweeting out the F word on Easter morning? Just watch. Praise be to Allah. This is a mockery not just of Islam, it's a mockery of Christianity.
Sorry.
To send out a tweet with the F word on Easter morning promising the murder of civilians and then saying praise be to Allah without explaining any of it, you are mocking me and every other Christian because we're Christians. We can't support that. That is evil. It is vile on every level. It begins with a promise to use the U.S. military, our military, to destroy civilian infrastructure in another country, which is to say to commit a war crime, a moral crime against the people of the country, blow up their bridges that people cross every day to go to school and work and to worship, and yes, church, because there are over 1 million Christians in Iran. This is their Easter too. And power plants, civilian power plants in a country of almost 100 million people. Iran is a modern country. What happens when it loses power? Well, people die. Babies connected to incubators die. People in hospitals die. It's totally unacceptable. Not under the phony laws of some international body, but under moral law, God's law, killing non-combatants, people who did nothing wrong, who didn't choose this war. We're just people created by God. That is immoral. That will never be moral. That can never be justified. That is always wrong.
I mean, like, it's a pretty good rant. I don't think he's going to do it. I don't. I feel like I've been pretty fucking doomer about this whole situation. I don't think he's going to do it. I mean, look, there's a chance. And I think the reason it's scary is because if anybody else said it, you were like, dude, no fucking way. But there is a chance with Trump. But the obvious, most likely outcome here is deadline extension, 2-3 weeks, and then some sort of deal. Chance of nuke is 0. He's not going to drop a nuke on Iran. That, to me, is 0. But we're talking about bombing, destroying energy, power plants, bridges, like civilian infrastructure. Pete Hegseth, I think verbatim, was sent him back to the Stone Age, was the quote, which is like not a great one a couple days ago leading up to announcements today. And so when I say I don't think he's going to do it, I don't think he's going to send him back to the Stone Age. And so the last one I want to play is political commentator Nuentes.
I think that Trump likes the idea. I think that Trump likes the bucket list.
I'm not sure. Like, I could do it.
He likes war. He likes firsts. This is why he's talking about occupying Greenland and Canada. Trump wants to be the president that does everything a president does: expand our territory, assassinate foreign leaders. He's not to be messed with. He does all these things that no other president has ever done. I think that there's an ego thing. I think, and maybe this is totally irrational, but this is just a hunch that I have. I think he really wants to. Knowing him, knowing his personality, I think he wants to be a president that dropped the bomb. I think he sort of like, I think he understands the gravity of it, the weight of it. I think there's a serious side to him. There's like a conscience that says, I don't think we should do that. The human toll is unbelievable. I think there's another side that's really tempted. That's one. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe that's a bad read. Maybe that's me character assassinating him. That's a hunch. 2,
it's a hunch.
Trump is really being backed into a corner on every front. On Russia, on China, on Iran, in Congress, in LA, everywhere you look, it looks like Trump is not really getting respect. Trump is just getting cucked and shut down. And
I think I understand the take, but I think people are fucking, at least foreign nations are afraid because he'll just you may think he's nuts, but that's scary, bro. Because he'll just fucking do it. There is still a scenario in which U.S. leaves Iran, I think, better than when we started. And in that scenario, you leave significantly better if you're able to pull it off, because everybody knows he'll fucking do it, which is like when in a game of threats, knowing the other guy will fucking do it is intimidating.
Cock blocked everywhere he goes. Russia won't make peace in Ukraine. China surrounding Guam and Taiwan. Iran refuses to negotiate. Dropping a tactical nuclear weapon is the ultimate.
He can't do the nuke.
Ultimate deterrent.
No way.
And it almost reestablishes the deterrence that was established when the United States dropped the original atomic bombs. After the United States dropped the 2 atomic bombs, that established deterrence with the Soviet Union. And thanks to the U.S. Strategic Air Command, the Soviet Union would not invade Europe, even though they probably could have, and overwhelm conventional allied forces, the United States and what would become NATO. At the advent of a multipolar world order where China and Russia and Iran and everybody's making their move, dropping a tactical nuke would sort of reestablish that message and inaugurate the new multipolar world order, this inflection point that we're in. I could see somebody making an argument like that. And then thirdly, that is the no-brainer. That is the way to destroy this device. If Iran is racing towards a nuclear weapon, if they withdraw from the NPT, and this is concerning nuclear programs, and allegedly they're launching strikes on Israel's nuclear program, it could arguably be justified because the threat warrants it. Now, again, I'm not saying this is likely. Don't anybody say, oh, Nick thinks they're going to nuke.
I don't know. In my 2 months of speculating on geopolitics. I think there's about a 0% chance that we end this thing with a nuke, but I guess we'll see. And so, all right, that's where we were at today. Those were the announcements, and then we've basically had a flurry of them since. I'm trying to see what the best account is to go through. I guess this starting here. So first one that came out, Israel thinks it's premature for a ceasefire and hopes that the military campaign could go on for at least another month. We'll just skip over that one. Then we come here. Okay, so Iranian official tells Reuters that exchange of messages with U.S. via mediators is still going on, gives no detail. Followed by Pakistan PM requests Iranian brothers to open Strait of Hormuz for corresponding period of 2 weeks as goodwill gesture. Followed by Pakistan PM requests President Trump to extend Iran deadline for 2 weeks. And then Trump is aware of the proposal. Yeah, gesture. Aware of the proposal. Then response will come soon. This is at like 15 minutes before close. So request, aware of it. Response will come soon. And then we get Tehran positively reviewing Pakistan's request for a 2-week ceasefire 15 minutes before close. Followed by Iran is ready both for peace and war right after close. And those were basically the headlines that came out right before market close, and we candled like this, which is crazy. I mean, I don't know. I think it's crazy that this is being taken so seriously, but maybe I'm just wrong. This is where we were at. 15 minutes, so like right before close, we binked 656 to 659 on SPY, closed up plus 0.1%. And we have about, what time is it? 3 hours until this arbitrary deadline that was decided by Trump to see what's going to happen. I mean, this is like a weird thing to ask the chat, like to speculate on. But I don't know. What do you think is good? Like, I'm of the impression that this is just going to end with an extension. I think that is like far and away the most likely. Also, it's far and away the best outcome. Now, it is impossible to trade, but I think we've reached a point where you have to just like be okay not being able to really trade any of this shit. Honestly, like I don't know what to tell you, but like, yeah, it's fucking hard to trade, but I'm down to not be able to trade this for a couple weeks if we can avoid just like, because what the alternative looks like is who the fuck knows. And so if there was ever a time to sit in cash and just pay attention, it's probably right now. It is a headline whipsaw nonstop, and I don't really see what is going to stop it. I have a few market takes here. Let's see what's worth reading. This is funny. I have actually had an IRL homie text me this today, which is nuts. And he's like, "What's going on in the stock market?" And I said, "Don't worry about it, kitten." Is what I told him. I said, "Don't worry, kitten. It's okay." But IRL homie who does not pay attention to markets texted me this today. Good Alexander tweet. I said, "Don't worry, kitten." He said, "Okay. Thank you." Texted me this. I like this Rhino tweet because I think you definitely will get paid a premium for holding risk right now. But it's just like, no pun intended, your risk is high. It's very extreme to be long right now because you could just get hit left, right, center, sideways. So still holding longs. I don't know. Pretty muted response at most things so far. I just assume Trump won't wipe a nation off the face of the earth, followed by every heart. This I agree with. First part, I don't know. This part I agree with. Every hard threat he makes and every deadline he gives that he subsequently extends or backs off from makes it more and more likely the worst of the situation has already occurred. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. This one I think is a good take. Or at least a reasonable take. This is how tariffs played out. Longtime lurker, Trump ain't bluffing. So what? What at 8 p.m. he just goes for it. Like, I don't know. I find it hard to believe it will happen, but I believe that it can. I really do believe that it can. And I think if it was anybody else, I wouldn't believe that it can. I believe that it can. By the way, we have 7 minutes until Schiff. So let's get through some of these takes. What do we got? What do we got that I like? This is a pretty good tweet. This guy's really sharp. Crude oil 231. I try to get him on the stream. He has some job that I believe won't permit him to come on. It won't be all at once. It will give them chances to bend the knee. That's what's so difficult about trading this, by the way, is it's incremental. It's like escalation, pullback, escalation, pullback, escalation, pullback. It's like you drive yourself fucking nuts trying to trade it both directions, right? So part of the reason I stopped trading oil. He goes, I feel like the oil market has already crossed the point of no return, regardless of how this war plays out. At first, we just swallowed up everything east of Suez. We saw major force majeures popping up all over Asia and premiums going through the roof. But now the Atlantic wall has officially crumbled. Only oil nerds like us are checking this stuff lately. But seriously, just look at the North Sea Platts window and the USGC diffs. This is nowhere near normal. I know some people are getting all hyped up every time a single handy tanker LPG carrier squeaks through Hormuz, even claiming there's a secret fleet of tankers slipping through. I highly doubt it. If supply was actually fine, Atlantic physical diffs wouldn't be screaming like this. These numbers only happen when you're hitting a massive supply shock. Like some of the smart guys have noticed, once you pass a certain threshold, it doesn't even matter if Hormuz reopens. The logistical bottlenecks will make it impossible to absorb the shock anytime soon. I'm pretty sure we've already crossed that line. What does hashtag OOTT mean? What does that mean? Organization of Oil Trading Tweeters. What? What? Wait, what? Oh, huh? Thanks, Dinap. This is a thing. Hashtag OOTT. Should I start signing off with this? Hashtag OOTT. Wow. Okay. Then this one came out. Let's see what do you got. What do you got? A deal is expected to be reached tonight. A regional source tells CNN. Let's see. Market reacting? No. Fake news. Probably fake news then, right? That has to be fake. No reaction at all. BTC. God, Calvin. Fuck my life. Iran has told Pakistan, which is mediating talks with the U.S., that it believes it is winning the war, and they have another 15,000 missiles and 45,000 drones in their arsenal. President Trump deadline is now more than 4 hours away. Less than 4 hours away. No, it's got to be fake news. I mean, just no reaction at all. BTC. Got to be fake. Yes, Israeli News Network 12 reports. So all these things are happening in Pakistan right after midnight. Just happens to be 30 minutes before U.S. market close. I have a bridge to sell you, and I don't even know what this is. Oh. Got it. And then one more from PP Poo Poo. Actually, this isn't even a good tweet. And so, yeah, I don't know. That's where we're at today. You either believe it or you don't. Oil market sells off on it, of course, but the oil market sells off on fucking everything. Look at this chart. Look at this chart, really. Just imagine, I mean, bro, it's unreal chart this is that we have right here. Think he was posting about it in his Telegram, and he's like, I'm just looking at this, thinking about how many bodies have been carried out on this oil chart. It's a brutal one. Up only, but like painful. Really painful. Wait, this is crazy, Dinap. What is this? Where can I get a link to Thickies TG? I don't know, actually. Insane. Look at the original tweet before it was edited. This was clearly drafted by the U.S. side and sent to Pakistan to tweet out as an out for Trump to postpone another 2 weeks. The crazy taco we all saw coming. Pakistan's PM message on draft. Pakistan's PM message on X. He just copy pasted it. Diplomatic efforts for peaceful settlement of the ongoing war in the Middle East are progressing steadily, strong and powerfully with the potential to lead to substance result. Wow. CMS. H-E-H. CMS. Wow, it is real, bro. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wait, what's the community note? This tweet seems like PM Sheriff received a draft tweet from his masters about what he needs to post. A mere puppet. Iran should take note of this. Thank you for your urgent attention to this matter. Source, version history of the same tweet. Wow. Luke. He's in the waiting room. I'm gonna let him in. He's in the waiting room, Luke. That is insane. Wow. Jeez. All right, here's the deal. Peter Schiff is here. I will be on stream with him in 1 minute. I'm gonna jump off real quick, and I am gonna put I can't play music because they're talking in the room. I gotta keep him strapped. So, all right, I'll be back in a minute. When I come back, Schiff is on. Let's fucking get it. All right, let's get it. Peter Schiff just told fucking producer Luke he won't quote tweet the stream announcement. What the fuck is that? Live with Peter Schiff right now. All right, let's get it. If you're watching on YouTube or actually, let me change my headphone batteries real quick. Let me be smart here. It's like, brother, I wore a fucking Hawaiian shirt for you, man. Hold on, Luke. I wore a Hawaiian shirt for you, bro. Twitter marked by Schiff is brutal, I know. But it's like we've been here before. I'm comfortable here. All right, let me just make sure we're good. All right, let's get it, chat. All right, 1 second. Let's go. Yo, 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 Mr. Schiff.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the stream, man. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I forget your name.
It's okay, Peter.
All right.
It's threadguy.
I just call you threadguy.
You could call me Michael. We've been through this before. The who are you again? But we'll get it for part 3, man. But welcome back.
Yeah, that's some shirt.
And a word for you, by the way.
All right, Michael.
Well, look, welcome back to the stream, Mr. Schiff. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. And I want to start with a quick laze, okay? And I want to give you some props because you came on the show in like late October. And I have this friend, Frank, and Frank built this little product that basically allows you to copy and paste any media, podcast, tweet, or whatever that has some trade idea. You could backdate it and you could see how the trade played out. So like if you listen to this interview from 3 months ago, how would the trade idea and the interview have played out? And I've had a lot of guests on the stream over the last year, probably hundreds of guests. And I have to admit that your interview in October and the trade it came up with was short Bitcoin, long gold, I think like October 20th, is in fact the single best performing trade that has happened on my stream. So with a heavy heart, I do have to congratulate you on that achievement, Mr. Schiff.
Yeah, well, in all fairness, I've probably made that call before. So it's probably not the only time I did it. So that may be one of the times it worked.
They tell you about a broken clock twice a day, but here's where I want to start.
Well, the real broken clocks though are the Bitcoiners because they're always bullish on Bitcoin. So you can't accuse me of being a broken clock when I criticize Bitcoin because all you got is broken clocks on both sides, right? It's
yeah, it's only been the best performing asset of the decade, but a broken clock couple times a month. But
yeah, again, it has been, but most people haven't owned it for an entire decade. So for the majority of people who owned it, I think the performance has been pretty bad because over the last 5 years, the performance has been, low. I think it's about 12% over the last 5 years. I mean, if you go back 5.10 years or 5 point, then you get to that trough where Bitcoin was below 10,000. So from there, it was a big move, but from when it hit 69,000 in 2021, it's been a horrible. In fact, it's still below 69,000 now. That was, 4.5 years ago.
I think it's like 69.3. But look, to your benefit here, I'm going to give your cortisol a break, and I actually didn't write down.
Oh yeah, you're right. It did move. Yep. It was below 69,000 earlier today.
Yep.
And then I think the markets are anticipating Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday, yes, they are.
It's a rally. So Bitcoin is back above 69,000, but it's still below Michael Saylor's average cost, which is closer to 76,000.
Yes, which I know you are a big fan of. But look, luckily for you, I actually in my notes didn't write down the word Bitcoin one time because there's a bunch of other stuff to talk about. And here's where I want to start is it's been, I think, 6 months since you've come on the show, give or take. And near the end of the interview, I asked you for advice on, what to do. And your advice was go to your local grocery store and hoard toothpaste because supplies are going to be very scarce really soon. And one way or another, things have escalated, geopolitical tensions, things have gotten into a weird spot. And so I kind of want to give you a chance to set the stage on, you were here 6 months ago. How do you envision where the world is going over the next 6 months?
Yeah, well, obviously, when I was on before, we weren't at war.
Yes.
And so that actually even increases the reasons why you would want to start hoarding stuff. I mean, before I was mainly looking at prices and thinking, look, if you got extra cash, just buy the stuff that you're going to need in the future and buy it now because it's, going to be more expensive in the future. So you might as well buy it. In fact, I was upset. I was on my boat all week for vacation, and I didn't realize that the captain, we hadn't filled up the tanks with diesel. We had each tank was about a quarter full. And I was like, crap, I wish, I didn't realize that we were so low because I would have told them to fill it up because I knew, as soon as the war started, I would have like, crap, we better buy a bunch of diesel. And so now I'm like, what do I do? I mean, maybe it'll pull back a little bit before I pull the trigger. I get very good mileage on my boat because it's solar powered, but I run the generators on diesel. So that diesel could last me a year or two, but I would have liked to have filled it up before
How big is your boat?
But I may have to fill up the tanks now because it's possible that they could be rationing the stuff. Who knows what might happen in the future if this war continues and the disruption is bigger. But yeah, I think people need to be stocking up if you've got the room, obviously. And I think that is the advice I give a lot of people who don't even have money to invest. Someone says, well, what should I do? I don't have money to invest. Well, you have money to stock up on non-perishable items that you're going to need, and you might as well buy them now as opposed to keeping your cash in the bank and buying them later when the prices are higher. And they may not be around. I mean, they could be in short supply. There could be rationing. There could be price controls. I mean, who the hell knows where this thing is headed? So, it's better to have the things.
Do you have a bunker?
Than need to buy them.
Do you have a bunker?
No, I guess my boat might be my bunker. I can hang out there.
How big is your boat?
Yes. Well, it's it's not that big. I mean, it's a catamaran.
Okay.
So it's 60 feet long and it's about 35 feet beam. So it's wide for its size. So it feels pretty roomy.
Yeah.
But I got the smallest one because I feel it's a little bit more nimble. And
that's why.
If I had to take control of myself, it's easier for me to handle it. I mean, I got the crew, but if I didn't have the crew, it's easier to do a 60-foot boat than a bigger one.
I mean, that's a fucking sizable boat. But okay, here's where I want to start with you, Mr. Schiff, is, most of my time on this stream, we've talked about crypto, talked about a little bit of equities, a little bit of stocks. But over the last 2 months, I mean, we've been forced to really pivot everything that we're doing and talk about the Middle East, talk about the Iran conflict, talk about oil. I got the barrel in the background, and talk about this, USA-Iran conflict. And the most jarring thing to me so far has been how difficult it is to navigate truthful and honest information, right? And you sort of have both sides. You have news outlets that are owned by select parties. You have leaders on both sides that have incentives to lie and fabricate information, manipulate markets, help prices, everything in between. And it's pretty, it's jarring how difficult it is to decipher what is real and actually happening versus what is not. Like, how do you how do you do this?
Well, I mean, pretty much most of the information coming from government, I think, is inaccurate or outright lies. Certainly, most of what Donald Trump says is a lie. First he used to lie mainly about the economy, but now he seems to be lying about the war. But yeah, I mean, I kind of just tuned it out. I mean, I listened to it just so I can comment on it, but I don't put any stock in it. I look at what's actually happening, not what people are saying is happening.
And so what are you paying the most attention to, especially right now?
Well, I look at the markets, obviously. So I look at the price of gold. I look at the bond market. I look at the U.S. dollar as kind of indicators of our investors figuring this out. To what extent are they recognizing these problems? And I do look at the economic data, knowing that a lot of it is, unreliable and manipulated.
Cool. And
but some of it, like you look at the popularity polls and look at Trump's record low popularity as a good indication that the economy is not doing well. Because the public, when they're asked, to rate the presidents as to whether or not they approve or disapprove of the way they're handling the economy, it's generally a referendum on their personal circumstances, because that's really all they know. If you just ask Joe Sixpack, how's the economy doing? All he knows is how he's doing. He doesn't know how the whole country is doing. And so if he's doing better than he was, then he's going to give the president higher marks. And he's going to say, yes, I approve. If his circumstances are worse, he's going to say, I don't approve. And the fact that you have record low approval rating is a pretty good sign that things are getting worse. They're not getting better.
So I know you've been very vocally critical of Trump pretty recently here, and then at the same time, I think maybe not to everyone's, but definitely to my surprise, this situation in the Middle East has spiraled out of control a little bit here. But it seems like, all things considered, Trump has been able to maintain significant control over the stock market, right? Like, even on a day like today, one of his crazy posts of all time, tweeted, Truth Social, posting how he's going to send, Iran back to the Stone Age. I mean, we closed green on the day on SPX. Like, how has he been able to maintain control over the stock market and not let this spiral out of control?
Well, I don't know how much he's controlling it, but I think the stock market at this point, Trump is kind of like the boy who cried wolf. The posts over the weekend are just so extreme and over the top, especially the most recent one where the deadline was 8 p.m. tonight. And that was going to be the death of Iranian civilization, never to return. I mean, what the hell does that mean? You're destroying their entire civilization? I mean, it goes back thousands of years. But what does that even mean? I mean, are you talking about killing off the people? I mean, they're part of the civilization. I don't know. I mean, before that, he was just going to bomb them back to the Stone Ages. But I guess the Stone Ages was still some kind of civilization as opposed to killing the entire civilization. But I think the markets are kind of like, this is just Trump. They don't believe it. And I think, if investors don't believe it, why would the Iranians believe it? But, the thing is, I saw videos. The Iranians, they have thousands of people on the bridges.
Lined up.
Trump said, I'm going to bomb the bridges. And so instead of going away from the bridges, there are thousands of people, women and children, on the bridges. They're like chanting. So how are we supposed to bomb those bridges? Could you imagine if you're a pilot and a bomber and you're supposed to drop a bomb on a bridge full of women and children? Who the hell's going to drop that bomb? I mean, so the whole thing is ridiculous at this point. So I think the markets are rallying or, rallied into the close, and they didn't sell off that much because everybody's trying to anticipate the extension. Okay, you got 2 weeks more before I destroy you completely. But I don't even like that. I don't know why Trump is even negotiating on Truth Social. Why can't he just communicate privately with the Iranian leadership? Why does this all have to be out in the open? That doesn't even make any sense unless, it's all a bunch of bullshit. And so, but, the markets, I think, are now realizing that this isn't going to happen because I think if investors thought there was even a realistic probability that we were going to carpet bomb Iran tonight and wipe out their civilization, I think the stock market would have been down a lot more than 400 points, which was like the low, which is nothing for the Dow to be down 400 points. And, I think oil prices would have, moved considerably higher. Because, we would really be upping the stakes in this war if we did that. And remember, Trump claims that part of the reason he's doing this is to liberate the Iranian people from their oppressive regime. Well, if you're doing it for the people, how do you threaten to destroy their civilization and bomb them back to the Stone Age? How does that help the people? So that kind of rhetoric, not only is it inflammatory, but it doesn't even fit what he claims the objective is.
I don't know if this is part of this like larger just trend of unveiling the curtain and everything in public. It didn't used to be this way, but something that's been pretty jarring about following this war is how there's just been this, feels like a blatant manipulation of good news right before market close, bad news right after close, right? Even starting, strikes happened on February 28th, right after Friday close. Escalate, right before futures open, good headline. Market closes, bad headline. Like, it feels like there's this pretty blatant manipulation.
Yeah, I mean, that's also a possibility that Donald Trump puts out those posts knowing that he is going to back away and giving people that have the information for sure. Because a lot of us, look, we can guess. We've seen this movie before, right? We know how it ends, but there's no guarantee. But if you are a real insider and Donald Trump has told you, I am going to put out this post to scare the shit out of everybody, but don't worry, I am going to call it off. It's a lock, right? I'm going to do it for sure. And once you know that, well, now you can really go into the markets in size with a lot of confidence, and you can buy S&P futures. First of all, you could get short before the post, and then you can reverse long. You can, you can really get loaded up to make a killing if you know for a fact what is going to happen. And that one thing is the people in the Trump administration, they are savvy when it comes to the market, because most of these people have come from Wall Street and the markets, and so they know how to trade and they know how markets work. So I think you have a lot of people who are certainly in a position to profit from this type of insider information. And if the only one who can prosecute it is Trump himself, because he's in charge of the SEC, then you pretty much know that you're in the clear.
It's been pretty, has it always been the case that, I wasn't paying that much attention during Trump 1, right? Maybe until 2019, 2020, I think is when I really started paying attention to markets. Has it always been the case that markets are a direct proxy for success of government? I would imagine everyone saw that Pam Bondi clip, right, where she's at the Epstein hearing and she's, why are you asking me questions about Jeffrey Epstein? The Dow was over 50,000. She's now out as Attorney General. There also was this leak of Pete Hegseth trying to slam this leveraged defense ETF, early February, right before we struck Iran. I don't think he got his bids through, but it feels like so blatant that market price is the only metric for success in government. What are the implications of that?
Well, I can't recall at any point in time where any president, including Trump, 45, any president that had so much of an impact on financial markets on a day-to-day basis. There was always an impact on major news announcements that came out of government. So the government comes out with the jobs numbers, and the markets would move on that. But I can't recall markets moving the way they move based on the president saying anything. So, other than we starting a war, but Trump just influences the markets. People now look at Truth Social. Probably traders have Truth Social, up on their screens.
You have to.
Following Trump. In fact, the only reason people go to Truth Social is to see what Trump says. Because if you're not on Truth Social, by the time you know about it, it's too late to trade. So the traders are probably stuck. There may be some algorithms that are particularly, coded in to immediately input trades based on what Trump posts. But I don't like the fact that the president has so much sway over the markets on a day-to-day basis, which opens up to the opportunity to trade on that information. Because you're not even trading on insider information about the company. It's not like I got advanced information on a buyout or I know what the earnings are. This doesn't move necessarily individual stocks. It moves the entire market. So you're just making directional bets. Stocks up, stocks down, Bitcoin up, Bitcoin down, oil up, oil down, right? You can just make these bets because you know exactly how the markets are going to react to whatever the president says, because you've seen how they've reacted before. So there's a lot of opportunities to trade on this stuff. And I think that that's a problem.
Do you think there's time decay there? As market moving events happen off Trump tweets, his ability to move either direction decays? We had the Liberation Day Taco V recovery, but then as He influences. Do you lose your ability to in crypto they call it the shill decay, right? It's like you shill one coin, you could pump it a ton, second coin a little bit less, third coin a little bit less, and as time goes on, you're a complete nobody. Have to make a new account.
Yeah, well, because people get wise to the con. They're not going to keep falling for it if you keep, rugging them every time you come up with a new token. And yeah, I mean, the president is going to lose. Eventually, people will stop reacting to his posts if they're always going to be neutralized later on. Then the market should move less and less, and therefore the profit opportunity. I mean, I would like to see the markets move on a post, and then when he walks it back, to have them go the other direction.
Yeah.
To get some of these insiders to lose, because now there's there's not the reaction that they expect, and then the market moves against them, and they end up with these sizable positions, and they get clobbered. Because the markets may eventually react in a way that the people who have the inside information on the post do not expect.
I actually do have a crypto question for you, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with Hyperliquid, 24/7 perps on basically everything at this point. But over the last couple months, first with this gold but silver mania, having access to trading that over the weekend caught these like crazy gains that otherwise you wouldn't have been able to catch. And then secondly, with oil, right? Trump, U.S. and Israel strikes February 28th at like Friday night. Markets closed by Monday open or futures open. There's like this $20 gap in crude that if you were trading Hyperliquid perps on oil, you could have realized those gains. Have you followed this at all? 24/7 perps?
I don't know about that, but I do know, I remember there was a move up in oil futures over the weekend because the war started on a Saturday.
Yeah.
But early that week, crude had come back down and it really wasn't up that much. And you had all of these Trump shills in the financial media saying, you see, this is because of drill, baby, drill. We're no longer dependent on the rest of the world. You see, it doesn't matter. And here we are, $115. So, we've doubled. And I was saying at the time, I said, just give it some time. That's why I wish I had realized that my tanks were low. I would have run in, filled them all up. So, but I am going to get killed. I have to fly to North Carolina tomorrow. I'm speaking at a conference there. It's an event, a gold company.
Is that a private flight?
It is a private. Yeah, I'm playing. Yeah, and I'm going to end up spending a lot more on the flight than I thought when I agreed to go there because the fuel costs are so much higher.
Are you exclusively private?
Not exclusively, but mostly.
Mostly, like what percent?
I don't know. I mean, I commit to a certain amount of time every year. I don't own the plane outright. I have hours that I fly. So I mostly fly, but it depends. Like if I'm flying to Europe, I'll take a commercial flight to get across the Atlantic. But then if I fly there, I'll usually fly private if I fly. I might not fly. I might take a train or something.
Okay, nice.
But if I fly and then here, usually I do the private. I mean, it's not a wise financial decision.
Okay, I was going to ask you how much.
I'm normally a very prudent person.
Yeah.
And so it's one of the extravagances that I just figured, all right, I'll just spend it. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to this conference and I'm flying directly to the airport, right near. So it's a 3.5 hour flight. And I'm 10 minutes from the hotel when I land. But if I would have gone commercial, the only flight there was that was anywhere close was a 6 a.m. flight on JetBlue. 6 a.m. leaving.
JetBlue's cool.
And yeah, so you can't, it's coach, it's JetBlue, 6 a.m. And then I would have to drive for an hour and a half to get there after I landed. And if I didn't want to do that, every other flight had a connection. And it was, 8 hours to get there. And then still, I had the hour and a half drive. I couldn't get to the little airport that I'm flying into. So it is a hell of a lot more convenient. In fact, if I had a fly commercial, I probably wouldn't have gone. That's how much I like. That's how much I don't like it. It's such a hassle going to the airport, going through security, the lines. Then
Wait,
the
let me ask
flights
you
get
this. Let me ask you
delayed.
this. How much money do you need to comfortably fly private?
I don't know. It depends. There are a lot of people that are way more extravagant with their money than I am. So I think you could have a lot less and still afford to do it.
But like,
I
if
mean,
you
you're
weren't
talking,
being an idiot.
I mean, you're talking about spending, $500,000 at least a year on private jet travel. And so if I was doing all those flights, commercially, maybe it would be, I don't know, 50 to 100. I don't know. It's a lot less, especially, well, I mean, if I'm traveling with a family and I got to buy 4 tickets, if you're going to buy 4 business class, first class tickets, it starts to add up, But this flight I'm taking by myself, but I'm taking the smallest plane possible so I can save a little money
Okay.
because it's just me.
Okay. All right. Before I ask you about gold, I want to ask you one more Trump
Yeah.
admin question. I feel like I'm ragging
Yeah.
on the Trump admin, but okay. My friend wrote this article. My friend based 16Z, popular Twitter commentator, wrote this article called "Loot and Rob," and the basic premise was that we've reached late stage empire, late stage America, and the goal of all of the elite powerful in America is to take as much money as humanly possible and run. Yeah. Right. Some examples of this are like, respectfully, Donald Trump, first day in office, launches a meme coin, or like how many, founders have not gone public, raised private rounds up to 1.5 trillion, what SpaceX is going to do, IPO on the public and token stock goes down only, or Donald Trump Jr., they buy this like drone company right before we go to war in, Iran. It feels like there's this trend of people in power sort of taking as much as possible and then picking the ladder up behind them. Like, is this something that you felt was this happening when you were young, like back in the day? Have you seen this before? Like, how do you feel about this?
No, I mean, this is unprecedented, the graft in this administration, the amount of money that they're making off of the presidency. Now, you could say, well, Trump's just a savvier businessman than his predecessors, and he's, exploiting the office and using it to his advantage. But he didn't do that in his first term. Nothing like this. And so I don't like it at all. I mean, I don't like any of this. I mean, the money that he made off of crypto, off of Trump coin and Melania coin, and his crypto business that his sons are involved in, crypto mining, all these deals, and then going around the Middle East and cutting deals that benefit his companies. All of this is, it dwarfs anything that Hunter Biden did with his dad. And I was critical of the Bidens, and so were a lot of Republicans, and I supported their criticism of the Bidens. But those same Republicans are not saying a word about what the Trumps are doing, which is way worse than what the Bidens were doing. So I don't like hypocrisy at all on this. And certainly there's a lot of ways to influence the president, bribe the president now. I mean, not just by handing him bars of gold, but you could bribe him by buying his tokens. Making donations to his ballroom, which I've been against this ballroom from the beginning. I don't like turning the White House into a palace. It's supposed to be more modest. It's a house. It's not the White Castle or the White Palace. It's the White House. The president is not royalty. I don't want big balls at the White House. The whole idea of it. But Trump wants to make it more of a palace. And that's not the whole idea of what America is supposed to be about. He's there for a short period of time, but he's not a king. So I don't like any of this stuff. You can look too at the other ways that Trump seems to be making money. Look at the club that they set up. His kids set up this club in Washington, D.C. called like the Capital Club. And it's the second most expensive members club in the country after Mar-a-Lago. And it's $500,000 to join. And what does that get you? That means you can go in and have lunch with Trump's cabinet members who hang out there. So it's almost like, that's what you have to pay.
Are you a member?
No, I'm not a member. But I'm sure that a lot of people, like, you want to get to the president, you want a favor from the president, you buy into the club. You hand over the $500,000, and they schedule a meeting at the Capitol Club or whatever it is. The executive club, executive branch. I forget the name of it. But I mean, the whole family is making a fortune off of Trump being president, and the influence that he has, the power that he has by virtue of the fact that he holds this office. And none of this should be allowed. But it's all a horrible precedent for the future. Because if Trump gets away with it, then everybody's going to get away with it.
Okay, so on another note, since you last came on the stream, gold is up like, I don't know, 100+%, something insane.
Well, $100 wouldn't be insane. It's probably up probably up 1,000
percent.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, percent. Where did this bid come from? Like, who was the marginal bidder on gold on this? I mean, crazy.
Well, I think the main buyers for the run from 2,000 to 5,500 was coming from central banks. I think the last move from maybe 5,000 to 5,500, I think we finally got, private investors, speculators kind of getting in, jumping on the bandwagon, and then, we had a pullback. But the majority of the demand came from central banks. And I think that that's going to continue. And in fact, I think what's going on right now with Iran is just going to fuel that trend. And that the United States has created even greater incentives to diversify out of the dollar and to move more of your reserves into gold. So I think that trend is going to continue. It's going to accelerate. And I think that more private investors are going to be moving into gold in the years ahead. I think they're starting to recognize now the importance of gold, and looking at the 25-year track record now since 1999, and how the U.S. stock market is down by better than 75% measured in gold. So, gold's preserving value a lot better than stocks. And I also think a lot of the money that kind of sidetracked into Bitcoin, 2021, 2022, up through, 2025, I think a lot of that money is going to start moving into gold. I mean, the investors, maybe not the money coming out of Bitcoin, because a lot of the money can't get out of Bitcoin. Bitcoin will just implode. But the investors that were allocating money into Bitcoin instead of gold going forward, to the extent that they're going to allocate more money to an inflation hedge, an alternative asset, they'll favor gold. They'll be putting new money into gold instead of putting it into Bitcoin.
Someone in the chat has a question, which is like along the lines of, do you think these hedge funds and trading firms are manipulating gold like what JP Morgan was doing 2008, 2009?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if usually the people who say that they're manipulating gold, the manipulation is designed to suppress the price. Well, clearly it's not working. I mean, the price of gold has gone way up. Now, you could say, well, maybe it would have gone up even more had they not been able to manipulate it. So I don't know, but I think that gold is going to go up regardless of attempts to manipulate it. And from my perspective, that helps out. I mean, I'm trying to get more people to buy gold. And if manipulation keeps the price lower, that's good for the people who are buying it, because they get to buy it cheaper than a higher price. So it works out. I mean, if you're trying to buy gold, then, they're doing you a favor if they're suppressing the price. I guess if you're a gold mining company, your profits could be greater. And I own a lot of gold mining companies.
Why do you own so much gold mining companies instead of just gold?
Yeah,
Like
well,
the Bitcoin miners haven't really been that good of a trade, especially recently.
well, I mean, Bitcoin mining isn't a real business
Well,
as
but
far as I'm
you know,
concerned.
same comp though. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's not really the same because gold mining companies have reserves of gold, right? So you can look at a gold mining company and how many ounces they own in the ground. Bitcoin mining companies don't own any reserves of Bitcoin. All they can do is go out and solve the math problems to create them, but they don't have any proprietary, batch of Bitcoin that they own. All they do is they go out there and solve problems like everybody else. And, you know, I mean, Bitcoin can just collapse at any moment, and there goes their business. Um, so I wouldn't be interested in buying mining Bitcoin miners. In fact, if I was going to be in Bitcoin at all, I would just assume buy the Bitcoin and then the mining companies. And I think if you go back and you look
Yeah, that's
at,
what I'm asking. Why do you buy the mining companies for gold?
well, because I do think that over time the leverage is going to be substantial in these mining companies. But if you look at the history of Bitcoin and the miners, you're much better off just owning Bitcoin. I mean, since Bitcoin existed, if you just bought Bitcoin only and didn't put any money into these mining companies, you're way better off. Whereas there are periods of time, I think, that mining stocks did a lot better than the metal. And I think the miners are undervalued. I mean, I don't know how to value the Bitcoin miners because I don't think they're worth anything. But I think there's a lot of value in the gold mining stocks, which is why I have so much of my own money invested in those. And it's why I encourage my clients to invest in them.
Who are your clients? Is that like stream viewers or what is that? Who are your clients?
Well, I'm sure some of the people that are watching this are my clients.
Okay, I just didn't know if they're like paid clients or how that works.
And hopefully some of the people who are watching this become clients. That's one of the reasons I go on these things. So people can go to Euro Pacific Asset Management and they can contact my representatives. We manage portfolios for people. Some of them are gold focused, gold mining, and some of them are just more broad income oriented portfolios, foreign stocks and bonds. I also manage a family of mutual funds that people can buy no load at any of the big discount brokers. You can get information on those mutual funds at my website at europac.com. But we have a gold fund, we have an emerging market fund, a foreign value fund, a foreign dividend pairs fund, and a foreign bond fund. But yeah, my clients are retail.
Got it.
By and large, they're individual investors. I suppose more on the higher net worth side, but not exclusively. Because again, my mutual funds have a $2,500 minimum. So there are a lot of people that own my mutual funds that are middle class. They're not very wealthy, but they have somebody in my mutual fund, so they're clients of mine. And at Schiff Gold, we have a $5,000 minimum. So people, buying $5,000 worth of gold or silver, you don't have to be rich. In fact, now I've got a new platform, tgold.com. You can go to tgold.com.
It's a tokenized
you can buy
gold?
$100 worth of gold. We store it for you. We don't deliver it. But so anybody, you can go on there and just, you can put it, you can set it up to have an automatic investment from your bank account or something. You can buy $50, $100 a week of gold. So you can start, stacking something real instead of stacking sats, where you're stacking nothing. You should stack gold or silver where you're stacking something.
Those flights don't pay for themselves, Yo, what I wanted to ask you about, like, especially when the gold mania was happening, it slowed down a little bit here, but you've been predicting 5K gold for like a very long time. Why did you have been, and I respect the show. Why is it happening right now? Like, why did this not happen 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago? Like, what is significant about right now where all of a sudden it feels like there's this shift to, holy fuck, I need to own gold?
Well, first of all, you have to look at where gold started. So in 2001, gold was at 300, less than 300. So it had a big move from 300 to 2000. So it took some time for the market to digest that gain and work off a lot of the selling from that. And so that the time helped build a real big base and clear out all the selling. And so that enabled the next big leg. But I think part of the reason it also didn't start sooner was, the dollar held up a lot better than I expected as a result of QE1, QE2, QE3. I thought the dollar would have been a lot weaker, and that would have caused the price of gold to move up sooner. But it didn't happen that way. There was a lot of confidence, misplaced confidence in the dollar, in the Fed, that I think delayed that move. And it happened a lot later than I would have thought. But, my target is not 5,000 anymore. At this point, 5,000 is not that big a deal. Now I have to talk, 10, 20,000 because we've printed so much money since my original 5,000 call that 5,000 now is not the same thing as 5,000 in 2008.
Speaking of printing QE, the Fed, how do you think the Fed is going to react to the Iran war?
Well, it's not so much the war that they will react to. It will be the impact that the war has on the overall economy, on the employment situation, on prices. But overall, I expect the Fed to be cutting rates and going back to QE because of the underlying weakness in the economy that will in part be attributed to the war, but not in whole. But I expect the Fed to look through the increase in prices. So even though the official measures of inflation will be a lot higher than 2%, I mean, they could be 5%, 6%. I think the Fed will look through that anyway and still ease policy, which will be a mistake, but they're gonna make it.
What is QE gonna look like this time?
Well, it always looks the same. They just do more of it.
Huh.
They buy a bunch of bonds, print money.
How big do you predict it to be compared to the last time we did QE?
Well, COVID QE took the balance sheet up to about $9 billion.
Okay.
From like $3 billion, right? So it kind of tripled. And now it's what, 6 and change. So they've managed to shrink it somewhat. But it's already going back up again. So it stopped shrinking. The balance sheet is expanding. But I think this next one, I think they could easily take it up to 20 trillion balance sheet. I mean, so we'll see.
Whoa.
But that would be, if they triple it from here, if they triple 6, 7 trillion, you're at 20 trillion.
That's insane. That's a fucking big number. When I'm thinking about like,
well, look, the national debt is almost 40 trillion. It'll be 40 trillion in a month or two. In fact, Trump just asked for a 50% increase in the military budget.
Yeah, he did.
From 1 trillion to 1.5 trillion. They're 500 billion right there. Extra money that we have to borrow.
So one of the things like I think about when I'm thinking about forward-looking markets here is that, like, when I think back to before February 28th, and we struck Iran, the stocks were sort of in turmoil, right? Everyone was in panic mode over this AI, potentially deflation AI, white collar workers losing their jobs. Nvidia was sort of flat. Like everything was kind of flat, right? We've been like in this, I guess technically in a range for like over a year post Liberation Day. And then we've gotten, I don't know if distracted is the right word, but it's just the word that I'll use with what's happening in Iran. And so it feels like there's going to be this moment, right? Like, say we get the Taco Supreme, Trump goes for a full-blown pullout, ceasefire, whatever. Let's just like assume that happens. And there's going to be a rally in the market. But at least in my head, there's going to be this rally for like a couple weeks, and everyone's going to think to themselves, okay, now what? And okay, now what doesn't solve the underlying problems that we like went into this thing with. And so in your head, how long would this hypothetical rally last? And then like what comes next?
Which rally?
Like on we're done in Iran rally.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that to the extent that we end the war, there will be some kind of relief rally in the markets that the war is over. But the markets really, stock market in particular, didn't go down that much because of the war. So
No.
I don't expect the recovery to be that big, given how shallow the decline was. But I do think that however the war ends, if it ends, because it could just drag on, indefinitely. even if we don't escalate it. But I think the situation in the Middle East is going to be worse, not better. So I don't think that we will have achieved any of our objectives. I don't think we're going to change the regime. And in fact, Donald Trump now claims that it is a new regime, even though it's the same regime. I mean, yes, they're different people, but it's the same regime.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so life in Iran is, but what we have done is I think we've created a lot more animosity within Iran for America, probably for Israel too. So the Iranians hate us more than they've hated us before, which is not good. And I think that there may be some sympathy that we created for Iran that may not have existed before. And I think the U.S. looks worse, especially if we go in and start this war and we end up really not achieving anything. Now, Trump will just claim it's the greatest victory in the history of war.
Of course.
And it's the most brilliant battle ever directed by the most brilliant commander in chief to ever us live, I mean, he's better than, anybody else. But I think that we're going to create a bigger problem than what we try to solve. I think the oil price is going to be much higher after the war than it would have been had we never fought the war. Right? I think the idea that
I agree.
We're going to see a crash in the oil price as a result of the war, that we're going to have all this cheap oil once the war is over, I think that's just a fantasy. Now, maybe oil prices will be lower than they are today, but they're not going back to sub $60 a barrel. Maybe oil goes from 110 to 80 or 90. But then again, it's not even going to stay there, because once the dollar really starts to fall, which hasn't happened, then oil prices are headed a lot higher.
I have a lot of cash right now, and I've seen you tweeting a lot that you hate cash, especially right now, and that gold, but foreign stocks.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of cash because I think inflation is going to destroy the value.
What percentage of cash are you in?
I mean, personally, for clients, I mean,
personally,
we don't keep much cash for clients, a few percent. No, I don't have much cash personally. I mean, I have cash in my checking accounts because I have ongoing bills that I need to pay. But for my investment accounts, I'm largely, almost fully invested. I mean, I can keep, a few percent in cash just in case stuff goes down and I want to buy more. But in general, as I have more money, I invest it. I don't just let it sit in US dollars. I do something with it. Fortunately, I added a lot to my energy positions, before the war started, well before. So those have worked out. But, I also added to my emerging market positions, which have gone against me, but I put more money there. I look at, if I get an opportunity, if, stocks that I like go down and I have more money to invest, I deploy it at better prices. I don't have to get the absolute bottom. I know that if I'm getting good values, I'll keep putting money into investments that I like, because I don't want to leave money in cash. But yeah, I have a lot of expenses. I got my boat, right? I got my plane, and I got, people I have to pay, salaries to, not in my business. I got people, in my personal life, at the house, at the boat, all this stuff that I got to pay. And I got, I got a wife, I got kids. They're all spending my money. So I got to keep it. I got to have money to pay all these bills, because I don't have any debt. That's one thing. I don't have any, credit card debt. I don't have any, real leverage on my portfolio. I don't have leverage on my properties, really. I have one mortgage. I have 4 properties, and I only has one that has a mortgage. And the only reason I have that mortgage is it's at 3 3/8.
Damn.
And I'm like, I hate to pay it off. But the other properties, I never even used mortgages, even, but that one I had a mortgage, and I had it at this low rate. And I'm like, I'm not going to let the bank out of jail by paying off that mortgage. they'd have to offer me some sweet incentive in order to get me to do that.
You know, one more like side note gold question is, do you think the thesis for gold as an asset changes in a world that's just economy is dominated by AI? Like 5 years, 10 years from now, exponential AI growth, does that change the value prop or the thesis for gold?
Yeah, I mean, that is a wild card that can, have a significant impact on my thesis, depending on, how productive AI can be and how quickly that productivity can be materialized, because there is the potential that we can have a huge increase in supply that would counteract all the money printing. And so, yeah, I mean, but I don't know how to handicap that. I mean, I have a son who thinks the whole world is going to be changing in a couple of years. Of course, he thought that a couple of years ago. But there's a group of people who really look at AI as as this huge thing, and it may be, but it may not play out as quickly as some people think. But a lot of people probably don't even think about it at all.
Fair.
So, I'm sure the truth is in there somewhere.
So you think it could be a black swan to gold?
Well, I think it would be a black swan to everything, and not just gold.
Yeah.
But I mean, it would be and not a black swan in a negative sense. I mean, let's say AI makes such a massive difference in productivity that everything I want to buy and everything that I need is very abundant and a lot less expensive. I don't need as much money to buy it. Nobody does. Right. So if it turns out that everything I need is going to be practically free, then fine. That's okay with me.
Fair.
But the reason I save and I invest is because it probably won't be free. It's probably going to cost money. And so I want to make sure I have it. But, if we have a society where no one needs money because everything is free, because everything was created instantly out of thin air by AI,
Yeah.
I'm not against that kind of progress.
Yeah. Fair. One of the last things I want to ask you is on this, this little bubble we live in on Twitter, especially on the finance side. There's a lot of young people that watch my stream, and there's this narrative that people love to push around, this doomer narrative of the permanent underclass, and you have X finite single digit number of years to make it, hit some arbitrary number, or you're going to be stuck in the permanent underclass of, AI doom or hyperinflation or whatever myriad of reasons that the future will be more harder than the present. What do you think, especially for the young people that watch this stream, like this permanent underclass narrative?
No, the people that would benefit most from AI would be the masses, would be, the lower class, the middle class. Their lives would have the most significant change from AI. I mean, if you're already rich and you can afford a lot of things, then the fact that AI makes stuff cheaper doesn't really change your life as much. But if you're broke and all of a sudden you can afford all sorts of things that you had to do without because AI has made them so much cheaper, you're better off. And, to the extent that you don't have to work, a lot of the jobs that AI could eliminate are very mundane jobs. They may be, physically demanding, boring type of jobs. And if people don't have to work those jobs anymore, that's a good thing for the people that don't have to have those jobs.
But then you don't have a job.
Well, again, they won't need, look, if the government gets out of the way, if you need a job, you'll get a job. And if you don't need one, then you won't have to have one. But I don't want the government being there providing the jobs or providing, benefits. I want the free market to provide them, and they will. I mean, there's always going to be opportunity. And as AI makes me, more efficient, I have more leftover money to hire people if I need them. Now, obviously, if I don't need to hire anybody, if I just hire AI, I don't need anybody. Well, then the people who I aren't hiring, to the extent they can get their own AI to do the stuff that they need done, and they won't need jobs because if everybody had their own little robot, why would you need a job? Just let your robot do all the work, right? You don't have to do anything. And if the robots are cheap enough, and there's enough of them where everybody just can afford one, and then the robot does everything, or if you look at like on Star Trek or something, they have replicators. You want food, you just push you tell the computer what you want, and it materializes. So if we don't have to grow food, we don't need farmers. If I don't have to go to the grocery store and buy food, if food could just be conjured out of the atmosphere, people don't need money to afford it. Or you just have whatever you want.
Fair.
So I don't know when AI is going to progress to that point, though.
Okay, the last thing I want to ask you before I let you go is, Mr. Schiff, I've heard a rumor that there is a presidential run in your future.
Yeah. Well, I just posted something on X because I was reading about how J.D. Vance, there was rumor that he doesn't want to run in 2028 because he'll just lose, which I agree you will, because the economy is going to be really bad and the voters are going to blame the Republicans. They're going to blame the incumbents. They're going to blame, Vance. He's part of the administration. So the idea is that Vance's chances will be better 4 years later when, he's running as, to clean up the mess. And, it used to be that being the incumbent was the advantage. But when you just pass the baton from weak economy to weaker economy, and every election is about throwing the bums out, the advantage is not to be the incumbent, because then you're not blamed, because the incumbent has to lie to the voters about how great everything is. And the voters know that's a lie. The challenger gets to be honest with the voters and feel their pain and say, I know how bad the economy is. The only lie he has to tell, or she, is that I'm going to make it better.
I'll fix it.
But that's what people believe. But so that I said something, look, I said things could be so bad by 2032 that maybe I'll have to run, because I don't even know if the voters would buy a Vance, because look, we're going to have a real game changer, somebody different, maybe a Rand Paul, but I don't know. There's somebody that we don't even know about. I'd rather not have to do the job myself. I'd rather.
Do you think you could win if you really, really went for it and you locked in and you said, fuck it, America needs me, I'm going to run? Do you think you could win?
Well, I don't think I would run if I didn't think I could win. I ran for the Senate once. I thought I had a shot, but but I don't think I would be able to win unless things were really, really bad. And I was really, really rich. Because
aren't you pretty like
no, but I'd have
5K?
to be
How much? How high does it have to go?
No. Well, to fund the presidential campaign, that's a lot of money.
What price gold?
Huh?
What price of gold would you need to fund a campaign?
Well, I assume that gold would be a lot higher. If things get as bad as I think, and gold is as high as I think, then I may be able to fund the campaign. But the question is, would I be better off running myself or funding somebody else's campaign that might have an even better shot than me? I'm obviously very. I can't lie. I have a huge record of very politically controversial stances. But I think that if things are bad enough, look, Milei won an election in Argentina. So my candidacy would be very similar to his. The things that I would be advocating, it'd be a very similar campaign. So he was able to win. The question is, would something like that play in the U.S., given the situation we have politically in this country? Could a Milei win in the U.S.? No, I don't know, but it was just a post that I was, I just threw it out there as, not like a serious thing. I don't have a exploratory committee set up.
I don't think you're that controversial politically, by the way. I don't think it's like insane.
Well, I am very controversial.
What's your most controversial political take?
Well, because I want to like eliminate almost all of government. I mean, including the most popular programs: Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Obamacare. You know, I want to get rid of all these things. And, I have ideas on how to phase them out, but I want to shrink the government dramatically. I want to get rid of most government departments and agencies. Most of what the federal government does shouldn't be done by government at all. Or if it's done at all, it should be done on a state or local level. So I want to recreate the freedom that we had in the 19th century. But I want to overlay that with the 21st century technology and infrastructure. I want the rugged individual. I don't want the nanny state, the welfare state. I don't like anything about what America has become. What I like is what America once was. And so I would like to restore those principles, right? The principles that the framers risked their lives for when they declared American independence 250 years ago. Trump is going to be making a big deal now about the 250th anniversary of the United States. Well, the principles that we fought for, we've given them up.
What do you think was the moment that was there like a specific moment that America started going south in your eyes?
It wasn't any one moment. It was, kind of a progression of ideas that really started in earnest with the populist movement in the later part of the 19th century. And, then continued into the early 20th century with the Federal Reserve, with the income tax, and with the New Deal, and all of the intrusions into the economy that we didn't have before. When they first introduced welfare, they called it relief. A lot of Americans were embarrassed to take it. They didn't want it.
Damn.
And some of them paid it back. Like when they so
Paid it back.
that was the mentality of Americans. But now we have a society where people feel entitled to stuff for free from government. So people don't feel bad about getting free stuff from government. They want even more. They feel they're getting ripped off if they're not getting enough from government. And I want to live in a country where people don't ask government for anything. I mean, the government is supposed to be there to protect our rights. That's it. To prevent people from stealing our stuff, not to steal our stuff, which is what most people want government to do today. They want government to steal stuff from other people and give it to them. And, that's not the country that we're supposed to be.
Look, I'm not saying I would vote for you, but I think you could run a pretty compelling campaign. Peter, as a sign-off question, it's been a pleasure to run back part 2. As a sign-off question, especially what I usually ask as a sign-off, especially for all the young people, young traders, aspiring traders that watch the stream, that follow my content, that are paying attention to the markets right now and are thinking to themselves, holy fuck, this is a shit show. This is difficult. I don't know how to navigate this. What is your advice for how to navigate the trading environment, specifically 2026 and on?
Well, look, obviously, whenever gold goes down, just buy it, right? You're getting an opportunity. When silver goes down, buy it. Go to Schiff Gold and buy some gold and silver, because I think any pullback is a buying opportunity. And I think, rallies in the dollar should be sold. And people should be moving more assets abroad. I think that is going to be the theme that dominates the landscape for the next decade or more, is going to be the flow out of U.S. assets, out of U.S. stocks and bonds, back into global stocks that are, much better valuations. I think central banks continue to move out of dollars into gold, and investors keep moving out of the U.S. into other markets. The money has been flowing into the United States for 20 years. Now I think it's going the other way. So I would encourage, your listeners to check out my websites at schiffgold.com and Europe Pacific Asset Management, europac.com, and listen to my podcast. I'm probably going to do a live podcast in a couple hours on my YouTube channel. So people can sign up there. And also Schiff Radio is where they can listen to it besides my YouTube channel.
Peter, I'll tell you what, man, we're different ages. We hold some different assets, but you have a fan in me, Mr. Schiff.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming back on. Is there anything else you want to say? Shout out, anything? We'll definitely check you out later today.
I think I got enough out there, Yeah, so
sick, man. Thanks for coming back on. Hopefully part 3, maybe 10K gold. We'll run it back. Looking forward to any updates on the presidential campaign, and it's always a pleasure, man.
Yeah,
thanks for your time. Peace.
So
oh, I just rugged him. No, I rugged him. Fuck. No. Luke, where's the link? Luke. No. Where's the link? Link it Telegram. Link it Telegram. Link. No. Luke. Fuck. Please still be in. Oh, he's gone. Fuck, man. Fuck. Oh, what if he was like, God. Damn. What if he was going to say some fresh shit? Like, I just bought Bitcoin. Threadguy for VP. Damn. Shout out to Peter Schiff. Someone just said, for even more pain, check out the ZEC chart. Pain? I'm long, bro. What do you mean pain? I'm fucking long, man. What are you talking about pain? What pain? I'm long. I do this shit in the pit. I'm long. Now, I was supposed to add it 290. I did just nibble, but I'm still fucking long. This is crazy. I mean, it was just like a pump across the board. By the way, really quick, what do we think of the Peter Schiff? That was fun. I'm not sure if it was like the greatest interview of all time, but anytime, I don't know. Look, I know he's a fucking boomer and we laugh at Schiff, but anytime you get a Peter Schiff on the stream, we're hyped about it. The guy is just he's a force. He's a force of nature. And I love talking to him. I genuinely love talking to him. I think he's a Threadguy fan as well. I knew he was gonna get on and do some fucking who are you again. I knew it was gonna happen. He's gonna who are you? I knew it was coming. I knew he was gonna do it. And he did. However, Threadguy gets egoed by Peter Schiff again, bro. Come on. I forgot your name. Is the first thing he said. That's insane. I also did hang up on him. That was fun though. I enjoyed Peter Schiff. We've gotten to a place where we're not bringing a ton of guests on stream unless they're like topically relevant right now, right this second. And Schiff is one you'll just take anytime you could get. And by the way, he's just like down to do it. Like, that's right. That's what I respect about him. I will say that is he wow. Bang, man. Bang, man. Bang, man. Wow, by April 7th. That's today. 40%. Zcash, 308. Bitcoin, $70,180. Hyperliquid, 37.8. Crude oil, off a cliff. Pee Pee Poo Poo, where is he? Play his song real quick. Where is he? Pee Pee Poo Poo, are you tweeting? Play it real quick. Play it real quick. Where's he at? Where we at? Pee Pee Poo Poo, the Poopmeister. Nothing. Calvin. This is helpful. I regret voting for Trump. I don't regret not voting for Kamala. So who are you voting for? Kanye 24. This is aging poorly. DNAP, you're on watch, by the way. 47,000 likes. 66,000 likes is the record within our company on a like tweet, and I am gaining on this. I am gaining. Secure the Calvin follow recently. I don't even have it. I don't even. Lattice 2K. How do you have the? I don't even have a Calvin follow. Market looks absolutely insane. Let's tap into the market. Let's do this. I guess we'll stay on for a couple minutes. I was gonna just rug the stream. Would you like me to stay? I mean, we have to stay on for a few minutes, right? So let's do this. Kyle, what's up, brother? I'm gonna stay on for a few minutes. Let's go over the market. I gotta talk about Zcash. Luke, chill the fuck out, Luke. Chill the fuck out, man. Talk about raid me. Chill the fuck out. I gotta stay on for a few minutes. Let me get up real quick. Let me fill my water. Let me get my tea. Throat hurts. I'm gonna play a song. I'm gonna get up. I will be back in like, it's gonna take 60 seconds. It's gonna be a long one. I'll be back in 60 seconds. When I come back, let's talk about the market a little bit. BRB. All right. Where are we at? Fuck me, man. Damn, I'm up a fucking 100% on the Zcash. It was a nibble, bro. Up 86%. It was supposed to be a fucking nibble, man. Fuck. I was telegraphing this shit for like 3 weeks. I'm like, bro, fuck my life, you know? Bro, I'm up 100%. It's like, no W's on that. Ugh. Oh, well, it is what it is. Well, that's awesome. That's obviously awesome, but what the fuck just happened? I don't know. It was one of these, like, I'm watching it, and you could just, why didn't you flip for it? Yeah. I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, it feels like something's happening. I don't know. It feels like there's some, like, vibe shift on this token specifically. You know, I came here, I was excited about crypto. I'm like, maybe that's some signal. I wanted to add 290. But let's see what's moving right now. Fastest horses. Let's see. Alt category. I mean, this is gross. It's lighter, which I said I liked lighter, Monad, Pump, and Zcash. Farcoin's up 14%, but who the fuck cares? Talk about a meme coin, dude. Shut the fuck up. Sorry. But no, I don't want to talk about meme coins. I don't know. I'm not talking about Bernie Sanders. I just don't like want to talk about that. No. Zcash up 24%. Sorry, that was mean though. That was like really like, sorry. That was aggressive. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that. I very much value your time here. I very much value you being here. But no, I'm not shilling a dog shit, okay? Farco's up 14. Layer 0 is up 13. Lighter's up 8. Lighter looks pretty good, I think. Lighter looks pretty good. Pump up 8. Monad up 8.6. I mean, this is one of the best charts in crypto. It really is. It really, 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 really is. Athena, oh God, a lot of these charts are so horrid. Plasma, I hate to be that guy, but it looks decent. The rest of these are just like, why are they even on my list? Sweet. Tau looks pretty good, I will say. Weak volume, but looks pretty good. VVV still looks great. Dogecoin, that's whatever. I don't want to be the guy to say it, but it looks decent. What else? I guess Pepe should be on this list, but I will not put. I will quit before I put useless coin on this list. I'll throw Pepe in here, which is up 10. Ugh, yeah. This is one of the nastiest fucking middle fingers of all time. Look at this thing. Middle finger. One of the nastiest middle fingers of all time. Look at this thing. It's just like saying fuck you. It's holding it. Like it's just sticking in your face. Pause. Let's do a TL scroll because what do we got? Damn, I'm gonna get clowned on for this now. Nothing ever happens once again. This is a good take, I believe. You do realize the market absolutely mooning on the potential end of the war and doing nothing that bad during the war tells you what you need to know. It wants to go up really bad. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Not that much. Send later, bro. Yo, TJ, I got a question. What do you got for me? What do you got for me, my friend? By the way, since we probably have a few more people here right now, I'm gonna throw the pit link in the chat because I'm super active in it. I type in it every day. It's become my home. Yeah, small Pepe, I'm doing it. If you would like to join, keep up what we're doing. If you came here for Schiff, if you're not like a typical stream viewer of mine, you should become one. It's just a bunch of fucking. It's a one-way announcement channel, but we're pretty active in the replies. And I'll throw it in the YouTube too. Threadguy. It's just like it's where I don't know. It's where you should be. In my honest, humble, non-biased, but obviously biased opinion. I threw it in both chats. It's definitely where you should be. Let's see what do we got. What did Anthropic just release? Also, Rhino tweet. What do we got? If there's any good tweets, send them. I was like sort of on Twitter during Schiff, but not really. Is that looking good? The ones I mentioned, a couple memes, mostly coins that get attention where attention is there to be had. Some other coins super wide bases. Probably not overly important. Specific ones, but actually right time will tell. Zcash looking good. More bearish for crypto than war prospects TBH, but hopefully just lower highs comes of this. Yeah, I mean, this is what I saw as well. I clicked around 259 was my first clip. Let's see what oil is doing. Wow. Pretty nasty candles here across the board. What other oil bulls are there? I want to see, like, I want some, like, good oil takes, ideally. Crude oil. Nothing. I mean, I guess this was, like, a pretty good sign that they're locked in on getting the ceasefire done, right? That was, like, a decent... I guess in theory, this was like a pretty decent long signal, right? I mean, in theory, this was a pretty decent long signal. I'm going to quote tweet this. I just want to show my, hold on. I'm going to say like, in hindsight, this was the most obvious ceasefire long of all time. Damn, I wasn't really like thinking that this is obviously a trade, no? But guys, is it the taco stream of all time? How do you walk back a whole civilization will die tonight post? Well, part of the way you walk back a civilization will die is that you don't kill the civilization. Right? Like that probably gives you some leeway to walk it back, is to not do it, first and foremost. Second of all, yeah, I just wanted to get that one off. I don't have a second of all, actually. In hindsight, this is the most obvious ceasefire along of all time. Didn't like efforts to peace was not go to war really progressive. Yeah. Damn, that was like an easy trade, and I was not paying attention. That was an easy trade. I was not paying attention. Thankfully, I already had some Zcash longs on, but not with enough size to like really feel great about it. I was wrong. It really was 40 chests, bro. Stop. Stop. Rasmus does not get to claim victory here. How much size? I don't really want to dox it, but I mean, 5-figure size. Percent plus plus 85% on you just hit with a follow on my Calvin followed account. Going to $1. What is that? Why did I follow it to a... No, I didn't follow it, but I will. Yeah, I mean... Oh, cool. You just followed me. I mean, you got to feel good about this. Like, what other markets do we have to go off of here? Why is Zach mooning so hard here? I think it's like just sort of started solidifying itself as... Look, I gave this take the other day when I said I was excited about crypto again for the first time, which is like, there's a couple tokens in the midst of just death. Ugh, it's not a good word. It's not a good word for this. In the midst of like, wipeout? No. In the midst of carnage? No. In the midst of very red price action for a long time in crypto, there's been a couple tokens that I think have solidified themselves from the pack as no matter what happens in crypto, these things matter. One of them is obviously Hyperliquid. By proxy, I guess you could say Lighter, although I'm not a big fan of the thesis that this should be, the ratio should be closer to the most expensive to the leader. It's like a dog shit bad thesis. But perps, 24/7 perps have just proven that they are very important and valuable. Stable coins, but there's no way for us to make money on that. And then I think the privacy thing has chewed out a niche, as this is just going to matter whether or not on-chain dies, whether or not meme coins die. It's like, no. The privacy thing fucking matters. And it's crypto exclusive. And cool, no one uses Zcash. No, it's like Naval, Balaji. These guys say it is, and so it just is. It's narrative, right? We're trading the narrative. And so I felt like I started seeing it turn around. I started seeing some price action, like, look good. And I don't know, I clicked, got stopped out, clicked again, should have got stopped out, forgot a stop loss, didn't. And then when ceasefire, and it fucking pops. I think the L1 thesis is like a little bit harder, but Monad does look good. But yeah, I forgot a stop loss and it worked. Tau as well, right? Like, I'm not a huge Tau like bull at all. I'm actually 0% Tau bull. Just enjoyed trading it when it was on, free money on the table. But that's another one that's like found some little community outside of the crypto diehards is like, yeah, maybe this thing matters, right? Maybe AI people take this thing seriously. Yeah, oil looks fucking horrendous. Get unsupervised cap on. Who is that? This? What is this? Oh, we've had him on. We had Mark Jeffrey on. You'll get XPL pilled at some point. Oh, they're different than Sammy's been on. I mean, you can't help but agree with the take, which is that market refuses to go down on bad news. Whether it's manipulated or not, I don't really care or know. Market refuses to go down on bad news, and market rips up on every inkling of good news. Means something, right? This was the case for crypto for a while, which is like anytime there's bad news, it's ripping down, and anytime there's good news, it's like can't even get squeeze a green candle out. You should probably listen to it. It took me a while to learn this, right? Like, don't fight the trend. Still, not sure I've learned it, but it definitely is this feeling of like the market wants to go up. Now, who is in control of that and why is it moving that way and what is making that happen is like unclear. But I said the oil trade was done on yesterday's stream. I said I think it's done after I read Citrini Analyst number 3 article because I felt like there was... I didn't say this. Did I say this yesterday, yes or no? The reason I said it is because I never considered a scenario in which every country in the world negotiates a deal with Iran, oil flows back to normal, but the U.S. escalates. And so I hadn't considered that to be the case. I read the Citrini number 3, and I was like, man, I just think that these people are right. I'm probably done with the oil trade. Now, to be fair, oil fucking ripped after I said that. WTI went to like 115. It was up a lot after I said that. And so I am by absolutely no means the voice of reason or the truth in the markets. I just use this stream in my Telegram as a trade journal. And so I learn on the fly. I'm learning as I'm trying to like sort through narratives just like you guys are in real time. And I'm just telling you what I think. And when it change, I change. And so I felt like yesterday, like I had not been in it in a while. And I felt like the RR just is like the worst it had ever been because that scenario was real. And I hadn't considered it to be real, which is like oil flow increases and strikes also increase. And you would think those two things contradict. They do contradict, but it's, you know, the way shit can go. And so, Marty, thanks for the gifted. Marty eats cheeks. Do you have a dream job in markets or is it this? Bro, I love what I do. It's like I have the best job ever. I show up every day. I talk about what's happening in markets. I learn how to trade in real time. We have a bunch of sick people gather here to fucking get smarter as well. And we interview cool people. And the better I get, the more people that come, the cooler people I get to interview. It's a very reflexive cycle. So no, I have no interest in a job. I'll just do this until we, sell it for $300 million. Welcome, brother. Where's Booty Watcher? Yeah, I am. So you're not interested in oil shorts on war ending? Like, okay, the way I've thought about this. I have thought about oil shorts on the war ending. I would much rather go long risk on war ending than go short oil on war ending, because I think that there has been like we read the crude oil 231 guy. I think there's a lot of like structural damage that's been done to the oil market, and that oil like wants to go up and be expensive. We have like supply chain problems. We have cost problems. I think that the supply chain has been fucked up, and I don't understand the level as to which it's been fucked up. And so for me to short oil beyond, an hour candle on a ceasefire is out of my lane, right? Like completely out of my lane. And so you could get a 10% down move on oil, or, we could go 100K Bitcoin. I don't know what's on the table, right? Bitcoin, I feel like has wanted to go up for a while. If we go full euphoric, we could get a crazy move on BTC. So I would much rather swing for the fences on longs than be like cucked in oil shorts. I actually think the worst trade on war is over is shorting oil. That to me, I think is the worst trade because it's like the upside is very bleak. And then unless you are really deep ball knowledge on oil, like we have a guy tomorrow who is, we'll ask him, Roy Johnson. He's like an oil trader. Like unless you're an oil trader, I don't think you really understand the implications that have already been acted into effect on the oil market. But there's no implications on long. It's like close your eyes and we're back, at least for a couple weeks, I think. If it were to happen. I'm still mostly cash. I have the Zcash nibble added to it a little bit here, but I'm still like, we're still in no man's land. Throwback. I feel like Bitcoin hasn't wanted to go though. We are damn near ATH S&P and still like 69K. I think S&P has been pretty weak for a while. Look at this. It's not exactly been an aggressive bull in stocks for the last. This top tick is last 3 months. You could definitely be top markets Twitch streamer. We're gonna be huge. The community's gonna be huge. We're gonna be the biggest in the world. Because we just cover faster, more time, more hours, more prep. We're gonna be the biggest in the world. I gotta get better, but we get better every day. TJ, are you a 4-year cycle believer? Why do you never talk about it? No, I'm not like not a 4-year cycle believer, but I just am a Bitcoin believer, and I don't really like. Yo, gapping now. What? Zcash? What? Trump True Social? No. Oh my God. Right as I say, don't short oil. What did he announce? Refresh. Oh my God. What's the announcement? I bet you the U.S. and Iran is about to be finalized tonight. According to CNN, with a regional source indicating that positive developments of both sides are imminent. Wow! Bang, bro. Bang, chat. Bang, chat. A potential difference between the U.S. and Iran is expected to be finalized tonight, according to CNN. Wow. So what now? Oil. Look, this is the candle you get. I told you this is a weak-ass, bitch-ass candle. It's weak. Minus 3%. Weak-ass candle. Let's change the title. Fuck my life. All right, what do we got? Zcash, not that much. Bitcoin, candle. BTC candle. Ripping volume into this. What's moving? What's moving? Farcoin. God, I don't have any proxy. What do we look at? Wow, look at this. I guess oil. We'll just watch oil. Wow. Bitcoin does want to move. Where's hype? Hype. Wow. Wow, my tweet's fucked. Look at this. I was so close. Let's see. What do we got? Oil slumps 8%. Okay. All right. Open image new tab. Thank you. Based on conversation with Prime Minister and Field Marshal of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to a complete, immediate, and safe... Wait. Whoa. And subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz. Did that happen? Are we saying that happened? I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This would be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with the definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the U.S. and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized. On behalf of the United States of America as president, also representing the countries of the Middle East. Dina, please find the 10 points. It is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. He's hedging. Close to resolution. Thank you for touching this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Close to resolution and subject to the Strait of Hormuz opening fully. It's not open. What does the market think? Market is long. Market is tits long. All right, wait. Let's see the 10 points. Market is tits long. All right, here we go. 10 points. 1, permanent end of the war, no temporary ceasefire. Okay. 2, no future attacks on Iran once U.S. and Israeli guarantees. Okay. 3, no Israeli strikes in Hezbollah, including in Lebanon. Okay. 4, lift all sanctions. That's a big one. Full sanction release. 5. End regional fighting, not just attacks on Iran. Feels reasonable. 6. Reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Iran would end its blockade. This is part of Iran's proposal. 7. Safe passage rules in Hormuz for ship movement. 8. Charge about $2 million per ship transit fee instead of direct compensation. Brutal. Toll forever. Will never be the same. 9. Split the fees with Oman. Shared proceeds. 10. Use Iran's share for reconstruction to rebuild damaged infrastructure. Well, as unreasonable as these demands may seem to the U.S., they are talking, which is bullish. Wait, where is that coming from? Where did that just come from? So, yeah, I guess it's from the toll. Wow. Oh my fucking God. Zcash, Moon, Bitcoin, fucking candling, Solana, ugh. Silver, candle, gold, candle. Tau even, candle. Wow, look at Hyperliquid. Oil, lower. Whose smart post we want to see? Okay. Altcoin they want ending seems to go up, constantly behaving stronger than BTC. It is happening. I mean, look at the alts right now. Look at alts. It's gross. Zcash 316, Bitcoin movie. What else do we have here moving? Where's XPL? Candle, pump, candle. Wow, pump is strong as fuck. Monad, candle. Lighter. Not great. Thread Tech TG. Trump has been bombing attack of Iran for 2 weeks. We already read this, bro. We just read this. I read every word on stream. We need a response, though. Like, okay, suspending attacks on Iran for 2 weeks on the win condition that they're reopening the Strait of Hormuz. But are they reopening the Strait of Hormuz? I don't see that anywhere. Where is that explicitly stated? I don't see that. Zcash. It better be up more from where you just... No, it's down. It's like, why? We've seen Zcash. No, they're not opening that shit. That's the only leverage. Bro, they want to be done. Their leverage now is a fucking... They need it open to make money. But if they have a toll, they make more money. I think they want it to be done. I believe they want it to be done. We'll just check oil to see how serious this is. And wow. Okay, I said the oil down candle will not be worth slamming long. I said minus 10%. Minus 10% would be like low 90s. It's down 5. And Bitcoin is up how much? I still believe this, by the way. Bitcoin is wrong chart. How much? Like, you could... This is where we started getting excited about like ceasefire stuff. Couple percent. Couple percent. We need Iran to come out and say that the strait is back open. Straight back open means poly market ceasefire holds down a little bit. No. Wow. 60% for April. Let's refresh this actually. It's like, wow, it's printing volume. 60%. April 15th is 80%. Long oil LOL. No way. Can't. You just can't. I don't think they will ceasefire tonight. So what are we waiting on? We need Iran to come out and declare. Wow, look at this thing. Oh my God, look at this thing. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. We need Iran to come out and declare they're done, right? We all knew he would talk on the Liberation Day anniversary. No. April 9th. Wow. That is insane. Where are we at? This is crazy. This is cinema. It was like priced into fucking Zcash, right? Like Zcash knew ahead of everything else. Fortunate Chud thing is that likely going to local top in that headline, but since I think we still position for upside in a few weeks to month time, I'm holding my longs. Reasonable sim short. This is probably pretty good. Chud is alpha. Caught that oil short instantly. Nice. So yeah, we're basically waiting for Stamps the trainees the goat. Maybe we get to fucking to trainee stream post post reopening. Wow. Wow, oh wow, oh wow. What a day today, huh? I think local top is not a bad take on this. Wait, so is there still an 8 p.m. deadline? No, he just fucking backed out. Why are you looking at your tweets? Because if you don't like your own tweets, who's going to? Yeah, this I agree. We need a statement from Tehran. Is anyone live that I care about right now? I mean, Trump just like declared a one-sided ceasefire. He just said we're done. It's like this. It's like we're dating, but she has to also agree to date to be dating. Otherwise, you're not. They call that a one-sided ceasefire. It's like we have to both agree. Let's do a quick search here. No, I can't do Sneeko. What about? Let's do this real quick.
Midst of quote unquote discussions, like they've been bombing each other back and forth for the past 3 weeks. So I don't know if that headline alone takes away from the legitimacy of the ceasefire, but it might. I mean, I don't know. It could. I wonder also if Israel does ignore. I mean, this is a ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran, not Israel and Iran. So if
what the fuck is this? Bro, what? The fuck is this? I thought we had a deal. I thought we were done. By the way, this happening on a Tuesday is insane. This happening on Tuesday is nuts. Completely nuts. Raspberry never a doubt. Raspberry calls me on stream today and he says thread guy might be wrong. I think I'm wrong. I said I know. He said thread guy, I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. Wow, what? What? Wait, what is this from? What is this website? What is this? What is this? Flight tracker? Flight trader? Flight radar. Jesus, I'm fucking retarded. God. Well, this is really like, I know it's a fake post. I'm still fucking curious, man. I still fucking am curious what the website is, dude. Fuck. Man. God, it's like I heard. I still want to check out the website, man. Damn. How did you even like? This is really overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. What's the deal with this? Gainsey, what? Uh. Filtered by F35. How? Dude, oh my god. Should I make an account? I can't do this right now. It's just like I can't. I cannot. We'll do it later. Wow. Okay, let's see where we're at in the market. Zcash 313. Oil hanging on by a thread. I want to see tweets from Calvin, Pee Pee Poo Poo, and crude oil 321. Guess we have the Iranian response. I don't know. Israel says intercepting missiles launched from Iran. They didn't get the truth post yet. Yeah, I mean, it was a one-sided announcement. But the thing that's so crazy about this post, okay, the thing that is so jarring about this post is, and subject to Iran agreeing to a complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz. It's like, what? This has been the bottleneck the whole time. You can't just declare the Strait of Hormuz open. This is not how this works. He's basically like, yeah, the only bottleneck of this entire war that you've been unwilling to deal with and you've been unwilling to cooperate on, we're going to be done with the war if you do the thing you have not been willing to do the whole time. It's like, what? What are you saying? Like, I maybe got like too blinded by the candles because it doesn't say anything. This does not say anything. He said nothing. He didn't say anything. He said, hey, if you agree to submit on the one thing that we are fighting over and have been fighting over, then we'll stop, even though I told you to stop forever ago. It's like, what are you talking about? Dude, what? Hold on. Back up. Back up. Back the fuck up. Everybody just hold on. Trump resolves the problem he entirely caused. No. Trump asks for resolution on the problem that he's unable to solve is the correct framing. Hold on. Synagogue in Tehran completely destroyed. That's Israel is part of Trump's ceasefire. Okay. That's a big deal. That feels significant. He got Israel to stop. That does feel significant. Eyes on the Strait of Hormuz where the traffic starts flowing. How do we track that? Who has the tracker for the Strait of Hormuz? Need it. Do we pump on that Israel news? Yes, we do. Not really. Oil down again on the Israel news. This is the best proxy right now. Getting Israel to stop is a big deal. Yeah, Israel's going to stop for sure. You want to say that shit sarcastic? Yeah, just like Iran's going to open the Strait of Hormuz, sure. It's like, no, you want to fucking be sarcastic? We can be sarcastic both ways. Yeah, they're going to do the one thing. Like, let's do it both ways. Let's fucking be sarcastic. Huh? I mean, look, this thing is saying down. Let's go like Hormuz Strait tracker. No, what the fuck is this shit? Stop. Where? Where is it? You just fucking said it accepted. What? Where? Oh, where? Dude. Dude. Dude, are you fucking kidding me? This is the announcement. We just read this. What are you talking about? You said Iran accepted. This is not Iran accepting. Dude, who the fuck said that? Are you, what the fuck is, what? Dude, what the fuck? What the fuck was that? Dude, Wavy, I don't want to tweak on you, man. This better be... Who am I calling? Damn, I just butt dialed my dad. That was an accident. Man, what the fuck's going on? I just called my dad. I'm sorry. Jesus. Oh! Whoa! Wavy 80 from the Raptors, man. Intel. The ceasefire was approved by the new supreme leader, Ayatollah. Wow. This is why you don't make a plus 38% oil trade. You're a top personality. Doomer guys, show me a plus 38% oil trade right now. Delete my Twitter. Iran media saying it's true. Where? Let me see. Hold on. What is this? Associated with who?
وسيخصبون يعني أنا كنت أسألك عن الجانب الإيراني سيد مارك. الآن مشاهدينا التلفزيون الإيراني.
Iranian TV, a ceasefire will be approved for 2 weeks. Bang! Wow, man. Market's not doing that much, though. Let's see, Zcash 315. Bitcoin does look pretty gross. Where's Poly Market? Holy shit. Holy Schiff, man. 93 fucking %. Wow. Wow. I love this game so much. I love it. What do we got? Stock futures are soaring. What's like the S&P ticker on here? Here it is. Wow, they're sending it. What do you got? Tweets. This war is the first real stress for on-chain commodities. Hyperliquid passed with flying colors. Yes, the fuck it did, and it's gonna get paid in the chart. It gets paid in the chart, my friends. Wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Wow. Why is this a good thing? If we were trying to win the war, we need oil to take over. Market hardly dropped. Look, I don't know what the long-term implications are of this, but there is room to celebrate when we don't have massive escalations in the Middle East and send Iran back to the Stone Age. Regardless of the long-term implications that have to happen, the short-term implications you have to be satisfied with. Interesting. Let's see this. I think the win condition for Iran, Rasmer, is that they get out of this war, they survive, and then they get to take a toll on the Strait of Hormuz. Before that bitch was just open, bruh. It was just open. Whoever wants to come through could just come through. And so now you get this toll, $2 million per ship. They're going to absolutely print. Like they just took a jump up. They just took a legitimate jump up. They tussled with the U.S. They got out of there alive. And no, Trump doesn't mind the toll because it got to the point. What did we get is we didn't have to blow them up. In my opinion, we don't look great here. U.S. is $1 per barrel is right. And 20 million barrels a day flows through the Strait of Hormuz. That's a lot of money. $20 million a day. TG, we're talking for weeks about long in the ceasefire. Why not long? I'm fucking pretty long Zcash. This price, I'm relatively long. And 85% of my net worth in spot BTC. Let's assume Iran actually agreed to a ceasefire. I think everything hinges on whether Tehran publicly guarantees they won't pose any military threat in the Strait of Hormuz. Sure, tankers stuck on the Persian Gulf might be able to physically crawl out, but the problem is the 2-week deadline. But there's a specific expiration date on this piece. No ship is going to risk entering the Gulf to load up. The uncertainty is just too high. Besides, on a macro level, none of the fundamental issues have been fixed. And even after Trump's tweet, Iranians' ballistic missiles are still raining down on Tel Aviv. Is Israel even part of the ceasefire? Apparently, yes, but we don't know. If the war between Israel and Iran keeps raging, we're nowhere near a real resolution. It's nothing more than a 2-week delay of Washington's final call. Apparently, Israel is done. The bottom line is that for those 2 weeks, the global oil deficit is guaranteed to keep piling up. The flow remains choked, and the physical inventories will keep getting drained. Just think about what that actually implies. Official oil tweeters. What does it stand for again? Hashtag OOTT, oil trading tweeters. This is why I said I'd rather be long than short oil. I guess we'll see how it plays out. But there is like real supply issues that I can't confidently give you any information on. Wow, look at that thing dump. Look at that thing fucking dump. Look at it go. What did Israel get? I don't even know what Israel got. Told to fucking stop. Iranians accepted the 2-week ceasefire. Nice one, Malcolm. P Poo Poo has tweeted. These are the 10 points. Either Trump we read them. Either Trump fully tacos and A, unsanctions and releases held Iranian money, and B, lets them charge a toll. Or 2, he's going to use... I mean, it feels like A, bro. It feels like A. Side note, my portfolio is completely fun. It's set up rather boring since I've been on this bike trip. I'm not shy about sharing my big losses like Trump's first big taco, but I generally don't have one here. Rory's on tomorrow. Cinema. Where's Citrini? Citrini. No way to have seen this coming. It's a victory for Iran. I tend to agree. How much volume has this done? Oh my God. Oil, wow. $2 billion volume. Insane. With 470 mil open interest. For context, BTC on Hyperliquid, top pair has done 3 billion. That's insane. Wow, where are we at? BTC, local. Zcash wants higher. ETH. I mean, Zcash up 26% of the day is insane. That is one of the craziest. Huge candle just now on what? Dude, you can't with the fucking caps, man. On what? No context, nothing. Just huge candle, all caps. It's like, fuck, man. It's on my screen. Okay, fine. Fuck, dude. Crazy. What else do we got here? Also, if you're on YouTube, whatever else, you want to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy. So, like, I went casino sponsorship. I'm trying to see you rip some slots and blackjack. Seriously? That's what you want to watch me do over this? Yeah, I added, but I'm fucking late. Like 310. 310. First entry is 360 or 260. It was supposed to be 290, but I'm in 310 or something. That's what you want to watch me do, bro? You're fucking fried. You're psyched out. Brent 89. Stop. By the way, for context, my first big oil close was at 103 WTI. This action got you past the 3 hour. Wait, I'm over the 3 hour mark? No, it's like, nah. Wow. $90 Brent. $90 fucking Brent, dude. You know, we're still at this point where, like, they didn't say that they would have the Strait open yet. They don't. They didn't. They didn't. What? Why are you saying, my God. No, they said they would agree to the ceasefire for 2 weeks to figure out the 10 points. But they didn't say, can someone give this guy a sub? He's dying. He's like freaking out. Give this brother a sub. All right, let's see. Thank you, Malcolm. Ceasefire will come into force once Iran opens the Strait of Hormuz. Interesting. This just came out. I see. Bitcoin is what? Looks fucking good. Wow. This makes the Bitcoin daily look interesting. I know my chart's all fucked up. How do I like mass delete everything on here? I mean, dude, Bitcoin daily. I'm telling you, yesterday I started to say, like, crypto looks exciting. All right, what do you got? Earthy. Control drag mouse. Thanks, G. Thanks for letting me know after I already fucking removed it. It's like, nah. Iran launches new. This is old. This was they didn't hear yet. It was like a slow delivery. I think they sent the news by carrier pigeon, and Iran hadn't heard yet about the ceasefire yet. They didn't know. To be fair, they didn't know. They did not know. So they were lagging, bad Wi-Fi. There's like not really internet in Iran right now. It's okay. Bring Taiki back? Yeah, eventually we'll do it. Also, are we going to just talk about the fact that Trump accepted Iran's 10 points? That's what happened. Right? Like, that is what happened. That is what happened. Wow, look at this fucking Bitcoin thing. Huh? How much is gold up? Wow, gold's up a lot. No, you're good on the comms, brother. Don't worry. I appreciate you sending the tweet. It's a pretty good one. We actually have, you guys have done a pretty good job with comms during this. Yeah, it's like they gotta open the seat straight up our moves first. So we'll fucking see. Holy overwhelming. Bro, what? Like, this is just, this feels so, market doesn't care, it just wants to go up. This feels too high. Yeah, 90 feels too high. Let's see. Yo, what's going on with the market? When'd you get here? How long ago did you get here? Just now? What happened with the oil? Fuck, guys. You're supposed to be here 3 fucking hours ago, man. Ceasefire potentially with Iran, but it's a little bit suspect, if I'm being fucking completely honest. It's a little bit sus. How do I, is there like a live on this? There's no Trump APM. It's over. He just did it. There's no APM. There's no, like, anything. APM was a deadline. He just, like, front ran it. There's no anything. What's the info? Who said what? Oh, dude. Fuck, man. Fuck, man. Fuck. Fuck. I don't even know what to say to that. Can someone confirm for me if there is or is not a Trump speech at 8? Yeah, there isn't. Okay. Yeah, look, this is the truth here. This feels true. I will believe it when I see it with the straight being open, by the way. But it's better it is than it isn't, you know? Whoa. Statement from the Supreme National Security of Iran on the 2-week ceasefire. The enemy in its unfair, illegal, and criminal war against the Iranian nation has suffered an undeniable, historic, and crushing defeat. Sounds like Trump. Thanks to the pure and sacred blood of the martyred leader of the Islamic Revolution, Ayatollah, may God bless him, the measures of the supreme leader of the Islamic Revolution and commander-in-chief Grand Ayatollah May God protect him. And the efforts and bravery of the Islamic fighters on the front, especially the historic, lasting, and heroic presence of the dear people on the scene from the very first days of war. Sounds like Trump. Iran has achieved a great victory and forced the criminal America to accept its 10-point plan. In this plan, America fundamentally commits to guaranteeing non-aggression. We'll see. Continuing Iran's control over the Strait of Hormuz, accepting enrichment, lifting all primary and secondary sanctions, ending all Security Council and Board of Governor resolutions, paying compensation to Iran, withdrawing U.S. combat forces from the region, and stopping the war on all fronts, including against the heroic Islamic resistance of Lebanon. We congratulate all the people of Iran on this victory and emphasize that until the details of this victory are final, there is still a need for the perseverance and prudence of officials and the preservation of unity and solidarity among the Iranian people. Damn, they're lapping how they bitch Trump. That's crazy. That's not going to go over well. That is not going to go over well. Uh-oh. War ends when both sides claim victory. That's a pretty good take. Wow. Trump tweeted. If attacks against Iran are halted, armed forces will cease defensive operations. This is so funny. DNF, it was so close. It still might get you, I think, but because I'm getting dunked on. 51K. I might delete it. I don't even really want to flip you, dude. I feel bad. Because I don't want to flip DNF's record, bro. It's my most liked tweet ever. He's passing the torch. Would you long oil here? Dude, I don't know. If you really are a fucking gambling addict and you want to fucking like gamble and slots aren't doing it for you, yeah. Other than that, I mean, we're just fucking, there's no edge anymore in the oil order bucks. There's none. You have no clue. Zcash trading like it'll be the official toll currency of the Strait of Hormuz. Can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine? This is crazy too. This is banging. The quote tweet of it is banging too. I just do this Twitter shit, man. I just do this Twitter shit. And yeah, I mean, this is where we I just banked ceasefire. Word. Nice job. Hopefully you have been able to make some money due to my market coverage, or maybe with the assistance of my market coverage on this war. Because it's not been easy. Honestly, it has not been easy to cover this. But I am proud of the job that we've done, as I think it's been pretty good. This is where we leave today. We leave today in a little bit of a crossroads. Like, we lived at a little bit of a crossroads where we're saying ceasefire dependent on the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, which is the single reason that we're still at war. And so, I don't know. TBD. At the very least, there's no nuke getting dropped on Iran, which is just better for the world, man. It just is. It's just better for the fucking world. Honestly, thank God. Thank God that this is, I think, just one of the better outcomes. We will see what happens. I would be very careful ripping into longs here. Weird spot. But we're going to just have to monitor and see what happens. So that's where we're at. If you're late, get your ass on Twitter tonight. Trump Taco Supreme is in full effect. Oil off a cliff, down like 10, 15%. Bitcoin ripping. things are happening. Stuff is definitely happening. I'll drop this one more time because we had a fun stream. If you're new here, if you just filtered in, we have covered every step of the way, this entire conflict, everything that's happening in markets. We're talking about it, whatever it is. I have a Telegram. Call it The Pit. We fucking rock in there. We talk about everything. Honestly, I'm fucking pretty active in there. And that's the best way to stay up to date on everything I'm doing. If you, in fact, care. If you don't, it's fine. And tomorrow we have like maybe the most tapped in oil coverage thinker trader in the market, Rory Johnston, who, if you know, is kind of a big deal. And so I booked him last week. Probably couldn't have timed it better. Him coming on stream. If you know, the guy's fucking pretty goated. So he'll be on tomorrow. And we're going to finish out the week strong. I'm fucking like a little bit sick, but I feel better today. And all right, fine. Base 16Z tweet. Fine. Actually, I think I know what this is. Someone getting duked on Polymarket, right? I already saw this. Yeah. Crazy swing in the Polymarket order books. And that is where we're at. 6th stream. I hope you enjoyed Peter Schiff today. And tomorrow's going to be a fucking banger. I'm not going to lie. I was expecting to come on and get off immediately because I was dying. But that's where we're at. So, sick day. Hopefully it's good for the world. And that's what I have for you. So, join the pit if you fuck with me. And I fucking love you guys. This was fun. I'm going to do him a favor, and I'm going to do it. Hey, before I go, any final thoughts? Sorry, I was like looking at my phone, computer, everything. Any final thoughts? Honestly, man, I hope this is the better outcome for the world. I don't know what the long-term implications are, and it kind of feels like we got bitched a little bit, but man, Iran, no nukes. No fucking nukes. Market's green. I can't really complain. So that's where I'm at. I love you all. I appreciate you so much. I am about to send you into a dark, dark, dark place. I'm sorry. Good luck. I hope you survive. I'll see you tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. EST every single day. It's more like 3:45. I love you. I'm out. Peace.